Last game, what do your notes say?
First line of my notes from last game are...
You guys should see his notebook. It's a binder. It's this thick of paper, of notes.
Like between 1 and 4 pages a game. This begins with Artegan and Priest running through sewer. And
Artegan
it says
and Priest.
Dvorak and Elisar. Though I don't
Dvorak.
necessarily know what that
All
means.
right, well, I got it from there.
Okay.
This is what happened last game. They're in Shadowstorm, right? They came to the Shadowfell. They came to Shadowstorm, which is ruled by a lich. They found out there's a lich ruling it. He controls all the undead in the city within a pretty large radius. They decided to go in and start nuking undead that they see.
Deloran started it.
Merritt and Artegan followed. Raphael stuck to the plan to go find out more information. So you did not nuke undead. Karamir brought it. He decided that he was tired of you guys killing his undead. So he sent a Shadow Dragon and he sent a Death Knight. And they almost killed poor little Merritt and Deloran. As a last-ditch effort, Merritt got Deloran and himself out of there by casting Banish. The unfortunate side effect of that is that Merritt's character has learned throughout this whole campaign that he actually is a fiend. He is not a tiefling, which is humanoid, but you're a fiendish bloodline, and we all know that fiends go back to Baator when they are banished. And you banished yourself permanently there, so he's in hell. Welcome to hell, buddy. Deloran, he got transported to the real world, prime material in the city Riverstorm, where the big bad evil guy, Magnus Monroe, the Dragonborn war leader, he kind of owns that city right now, and Deloran's now his prisoner. That was fun. What a game.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire.
So now you have Merritt in hell, Deloran in the prime material. Raphael is still in the Shadowstorm somewhere in the Shadowfell, and Artegan decided to go to Art's Museum, which is in another dimension. There's 4 players in 4 different dimensions right now. That's splitting the party. During break, I'm going to show you why you shouldn't split the party. You can watch Garavon die once more. It's one of my favorites. Don't split the party. I gave them plenty of warnings. They didn't heed my warnings. They didn't win the fight because obviously it wasn't tailored against 2 characters. They found that out pretty quick after Deloran went to 13 hit points in like 1 round.
He's fine.
In the meantime, Artegan, he's traveling through the sewers because he's going off by himself. He's going to try to take on an entire estate of, well, cultists. But not just any cultists. Cultists of Nerul. One of them who is known to probably be pretty powerful because he can bring people back from death. He found that out. And he's going to go do it by himself. You might watch the second Don't Split the Party today. That's my rant for the day.
I think he said that all in one breath.
It was pretty amazing. I have not seen the Ghost of Saltmarsh book yet. Actually looking forward to seeing it, though. That just came out. As for recap, I don't even know if it's an adventure module. Is it an adventure module? I haven't had a chance to really look into it. But it does have some new beasties, which is fun. Ender's saying there's a new skeleton juggernaut. That'd be fun.
Oh.
They did fight their own giant skeletons, but in the monster manual there are no giant skeletons, so I had to make my own. You guys kind of tooled them this time. Like, you're pretty powerful. You're level 17.
For my mind's eye, how giant were these giant skeletons that we
20 feet.
Okay. I walked past 20 feet.
You just strolled right past them while they're shooting your friends with giant bows.
I still love that one. I like the slow walk through chaos.
That's cool. You do you.
Everyone has a thing.
I mean, you didn't do anything.
It's the Raphael fetish.
You watched people
right.
fighting. You didn't fight yourself, but I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Same as Alex. He split himself off from the fight and didn't get to do much.
He was told to. I
He
don't know.
was told by Deloran. Who listens to that guy?
We all do.
This guy.
Why?
Like, maybe all of us maybe not merit so much, but
It's still too much.
it's still too much, yeah.
Okay. Let's get started. Who are we gonna start with?
Roll D3.
Oh, I could do that. You'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is who we start with. Starting with Raphael. Let me put on some less happy music. Although you're not in a bad place. You are currently in a manse inside Shadowfell, inside Shadowstorm. But the inside of this house, from what you remember, I don't know if you remember it much out of game.
No, I still have the image in my head about what it looks like.
Okay. So, just to recap for other people, this is a very nice, a very furnished manse. And it doesn't look like the outside of Shadowstorm, which is tones of grays and browns, and, you know, there's not much color in the world in the Shadowfell. Lots of blacks and whites, and it's dismal. But inside here, it's well lit. Some of the wall panels are wooden siding on the walls. The floors are all wooden. There's a lot of area rugs and chandeliers with candles, and they're currently lit. Your retainers, Gillian, Reinald, and Frederick, have been tasked to make sure it's clean, well lit, upkept. But those are the only residents, because you guys came here searching for Deloran, and you didn't find him. You haven't found him yet. Roan had wanted to task your group with finding Deloran and finding his prodigy, a younger girl. He doesn't remember her name, though. That's where you're at. He just sent Reinald and Frederick out to find out what's going on outside, because there was a bunch of ruckus happening. A fight, to say. But they're not back yet. So it's you, Roan, and Gillian. Do you want to do anything in the meantime?
Not really, I guess. We'll sit down maybe next to Roan.
He's sitting in a very cushy, not quite recliner, but he has an ottoman pulled up. He's got his legs kicked up, and he is reading a book.
What are you studying?
He flips the page. He holds the book up to you. Mysteries of Mermont. Well, I'm not studying right now. This is one of a classic. He turns the next page. Murder mystery.
Who done it?
Pretty much. This is probably the hardest part, Raphael. Sitting here, waiting for you or your friends, trying to be patient, trying to wait and find out what happened without being involved.
This is all part of the game, I suppose.
I don't consider it a game, but I understand what you mean.
Well, if we are calling it as a game, I am not enjoying it.
I know you want to be out there, helping. It's probably too late. Hopefully when Frederick and Reinald get back, we'll know a little more.
Hopefully they are all right.
You know, I haven't been with them too long. I've known them a while, but this is our first time going on a quest together, an adventure. They seem that you've trained them well.
I see. I've trained them. That couldn't be farther from the truth. They are... I fear I will never be a part of their group. Though I do not mind fighting alongside them. Artegan is very clever as well as Merit.
I wasn't talking about them. I was talking about your retainers. Your friends will not take your direction for now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He takes a sip of his brandy.
Being away from these brothers I have to say I might have forgotten about them for a while. So I did not mean to.
As you are talking, Gillian walks into the room. He's got his helmet off, and he has shoulder length. He usually has blonde hair.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. But he still has his half... Well, he's wearing scale mail. He still has all his armors on. You can hear him approaching. It's pretty loud as his plated boots are slamming against the wooden floors. And he walks in with another bottle of wine and a cup. Raphael, would you like some wine?
Only if you join me.
Roan, I see you have some already. Yes, I'm fine for now. Sit, Gillian. Join us in conversation. Help us pass the time until everyone gets here.
Gillian, how do you feel about the Shadowfell?
The Shadowfell is not what I expected. I would be lying if I said it did not make me nervous.
It's alright to do stuff that makes you nervous.
I am glad you are here.
Oh shit, come on, Brian.
I'm not even here. I literally didn't say anything.
I know you didn't, but then I said what I said, and then I'm like immediately regret it.
It's alright, I'm just gonna clip it out of context. Totally.
Hey, Gilly. It's okay to be afraid your first time.
Just cut Garavan's witch scene in the bathroom.
No.
With him
No.
being like, it's okay to do what makes you nervous.
Guys, it's only 8 a.m. Come on. It's too
not
early
8
for
o'clock
this.
yet.
It's 5 till. He pours everyone some wine. At that point, you hear the door. Chung, ka-choo, and it slams. And you hear the footsteps of your other two retainers, Reinald and Frederick. They come in, huffing and puffing like... Reinald, you have known for a long time, but he is a mute. He doesn't talk, and Frederick will do most of the talking for him. Roan, Raphael, they are gone. They left the city. We saw it happen. Merit and Deloran, they were fighting a winged dragon. We suspected it's a dragon. And it looked like they were going to be killed, and Merit did something. He cast a spell. He got them out of there.
And where did you see Artegan?
No. We could go back out if you would like.
No, that's all right. Don't worry about it. Just rest. Are you all right?
We stayed well away.
Gillian pours them some wine.
So he'll start pouring everyone some wine. He grabs a couple more glasses from a little cabinet that he has them all set on.
I will turn to Roan.
Did you have a contingency plan?
We did. I suspect that Merritt may have taken me back to Oakdale. As for Artegan, maybe I will go to the meeting place later. And if he's not there, I will possibly search for him.
Where are you meeting?
We were going to meet at the entrance to the material plane.
Next dawn, I'll try to get a hold of some people. Who do you want me to contact first?
I suppose try to contact Artegan. I suspect he may still be in the Shadowfell then, since my retainers have not seen him.
I can contact 2 people.
Let's just start with Artegan.
Very well. When we wake. So for the rest of the night, Raphael will be able to finish his tome. Tome of Knowledge. You will gain +2 in your intelligence permanently.
Yep.
And you will also have a 22 cap for intelligence. So if you ever raise it past 20, that will work. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Who wants to go next? Should I roll the die?
Mm-hmm.
The die of fate. It's going to be Artegan. So Artegan, same thing. You have rested.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the Arts Museum. There is nothing going on here.
Mm-hmm.
It is quiet. Servants will serve you food and drink to your heart's content. They will take care of everything for you, whatever you need. And they aren't real. They don't really hold conversations, so it does get a little bit lonely.
I spend most of the time reading anyway, so.
Artegan's used to it then.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, I believe you will also finish your tome of Charm?
Yeah, something like that.
You may add your +2 to Charisma permanently with a cap to 22. Besides that, for these next 12 hours, nothing of note happens. Or however many you stay. I don't think you need 12 to read.
No, but I did need to get a long rest to recharge my spells.
And you want to spend a few hours reading your book about devils. 1,000 Years of Devils. You can study one of the devils on there in full. And I'll say you have studied one already. So you have 2 studied in that book. You can pick them.
Okay.
And I think I gave you a list. So you'll know which ones are in the book and which ones you can study. That'll help for your true polymorph. It'll help you turn into those creatures or turn other creatures into them. And when you do study them, you gain a lot of knowledge about them. You might not know 100% like its immunities or its resistances. There might be references to those types of things. It's not a stat block. You're not reading the monster manual. But you'll have a good understanding of them. You'll know what their strengths and weaknesses most likely are. And you know most devils, their strengths are against fire, generally. But you can do that, and the time will pass. And you will get your long rest. You can go ahead and refresh your spell slots, refresh your hit points.
Good luck.
Hit that reset button.
If anyone's noticing a pattern, Merritt did not get a stat book.
No. Deloran did, but he's not here and he didn't read it.
He's got a lot of spare time now that he's in prison. Get him a book.
He got the book. That was the end of last session.
Yep. He was like, can I spend the time reading?
All right.
Hours in 48 hours.
When you wake up, all your magic items that had charges recharge. It is a new dawn. it is actually dawn, and it's early morning, 5 a.m. What do you do?
I'm gonna open the door, take a look outside, see what I see.
Okay. So, you place the door. It's hard to explain if you weren't here last game, but Artegan decided to carve his way through the city wall. First, you cast Stone Shape. You got 5 feet in. You made a little stone cove into the city wall. But you found out that the city wall was much thicker than 5 feet. That didn't carve all the way through. So then you cast 2 Disintegrates. That's how you do it. Through the rest of the wall. And you dissolved a 20-foot cubic space of the stone wall and just turned it into ash, pretty much. And you can see all the way through. And that's where you placed your door to another dimension. You peek out the door and you look left, you look right, it looks like a stone tunnel. If you look left, you'd be looking back into the city and you'd see the houses inside this city. If you look right, you're looking across a barren and void land. It is dark. It is really dark outside. So really, you're a human. You don't see anything. You see lights to the left. You see the city. And there's enough light that way that you can see into it. But when you look right, it's just a black expanse.
Okay. I'm going to go out and go to the right towards the barren wasteland. And see. I had a general direction that the estate was, correct?
Nope. Well, yes. Because he was trying to lead you in the general direction through the sewer system.
Yeah, and we're probably
general meaning, you would assume if you were going through a sewer system under a city, it's not going to probably be linear exactly there. He might be taking you to a little outlet pipe somewhere, coming outside of the walls. That's the easiest way to get out of the walls besides going through the gates. And he didn't make it all the way through, and he died. You have a general idea of how to get out of the sewer system, but the estate itself, you're not entirely sure.
Okay. I'm going to take out my bracelet so I can see a little bit better. And I'll cast Fly myself to get a better vantage point, see if I can see any lights on the ground.
Okay. You cast Fly. You receive a message in your head. It is Roan. In 25 words or less, is there something you specifically want to relate to Artegan?
Are you okay? What is your location? Merritt and Deloran are gone.
That's 12.
May have went back to Oakdale.
You done?
It's okay to be nervous.
Roan will finish it. Do you need any help? Where to meet? That's 25 words.
Reply with, I am okay. Near city wall currently.
If you need an exact area, I can tell you better, like west, east, north, south.
Okay.
So you'd be west of the wall.
Okay. West of wall. Looking for what was the estate's name?
Carruthers.
Carruthers estate. Meet there. Does that work?
That could work.
Okay.
Do you know anything about this Carruthers estate?
No.
He wanted you to meet there.
Do you know anything about the Carruthers?
Good question. No.
Maybe there's something here we can find. Maybe Deloran will have
left some kind of notes about the Corella states.
Renault. You see Renault sitting over in one of the sofas. His hair is tied back. He has a short little ponytail. He doesn't speak, but he looks up. You're the best at research. Go through Deloran's den. Look for anything on the Carruthers and their estates. Now. And Renault kind of jumps up and he heads over to Deloran's den. I'll start searching through the rest of the house. Do you want to help Renault?
Yes.
Now. No, I'm just joking.
So I start...
So you head over to Deloran's den, and it's a pretty good-sized chamber with books lined from top to bottom. Bookshelves line the walls, and anything and everything that you can think of, ranging from different planes to different creatures, fiction, non-fiction, it's all here. It's not a full, complete library, but it has a variety of topics. Almost anything you can think of. Go ahead and roll your investigation.
Just popping that up. Oh, that's not bad. Investigation plus 4 is 21.
21. You go through some of the books, some of the bookshelves, and you're not really finding anything that you want. So you head more to his personal space, where Deloran would sit in his den, his desk. And you go through some of the drawers. You go through some of the papers that are spread about his desk in different books. And you actually do find some information, some ledgers titled Carruthers.
I grab it and I open up the... Is it like a folder or...
So it would be a scroll, a parchment.
Okay, so I'll just...
The first words, you unwrap it, unravel it, is Carruthers. And then it's going to go over, it's like an inventory of items, maybe a shipping label, or it has some items and costs. As you go down, it just looks like a shopping list almost of different kinds of foods for the most part.
I'll turn to Reynolds and go, please go get Roan.
Okay, so Roan will join you. We're going to switch to Merritt finally. Merritt, you are in hell. Welcome to hell. How does it feel to be here? Let's see, where we last left you, you were staring at a pit fiend.
Mm-hmm.
One of the scariest creatures you've met one-on-one. Now, you had tucked yourself in a little corner of this cavern. Lights are flickering from the torches, these red lights flickering light off the walls. And he had someone that he brought with him, a humanoid creature. You didn't get a good look at the guy that was screaming when you came back into your own senses. Because right as you looked down, the pit fiend wrenched his head apart with his bare hands. The screaming stopped, crunching and chewing ensued. Sometimes it sounds like he's chewing on gravel as he's crunching the bones in his mouth, and it was oversaturating your senses with a terrible feeling of unease. It made you nauseous. And you would spend your time dipping back into your familiar senses, into Skizit's senses. Lucky for you, you can sense him anywhere on the plane, the entire plane, because of your Warlock Pact. You dipped back into his senses and you saw that he was in a cloud storm of ash and cinder from a volcano that hasn't stopped its activity since you got here. It seems to never ceasing its spew of ash and magma. Sorry, I forgot to take a breath for about a minute there.
Are you getting any closer, Skizit?
Yes, I think I'm getting a little closer. It's really hard to see out here, and I've only been here, like I told you, once. Last time I was summoned by Gaziel, well, I have to go through the city, and I'm not really excited about that.
What's wrong?
Well, it's a city of devils, and they're a lot like me, so that's what's wrong. Come on. What do you think? But that's where Gaziel lives right now. He lives in a city called Ambermock.
Is that near the volcano?
It's past the volcano, and it's in a river of magma, a lake of magma. That's where it was built.
Whew. And you imagine that you will be hindered on your journey?
I hope not. Shit.
Are many from this area, from this plane? Are they capable of seeing through illusion, such as your invisibility?
Some are. Not all of them. I hope to just get straight to him. Once you get to him, it should be a lot better. He has a lot of authority in Phlegethos.
Oh. Many of my usual blessings may fall on deaf ears, so I wish you good luck.
Okay. He continues flying through this smoke and ash. The heat, you can feel it on his skin, but again, it doesn't feel too hot. He bathes, he basks in this kind of heat. Man, just beware of all the fire around here, Merritt. It's treacherous. For creatures like me, I'll be fine, but it likes to seek you out. It is a vengeful spirit in Phlegethos.
Really? Oh. Thank you for your warning. This place truly is different.
This is your home, Merritt. This is where you were created. For better or worse.
Indeed. I may have to get used to it. I'm not entirely sure when we'll be leaving.
Sorry, swallowed some ash.
Yeah, you might want to go around the volcano rather than through that vertical plume. Just a hunch.
I've been thinking. Something that struck me as weird. To get through Baator, the Nine Hells, you can't go from one layer to the next. It's Asmodeus' decree. The only way you can travel from one layer to the other is through the River Styx. So,
And you're wondering if that still holds? If
it
Asmodeus
must
is gone?
not, if he's gone, for you to come right back here. You skipped the first 3 layers. Everyone stops in Avernus. Even when you die as a fiend, that's where you would stop. So maybe his laws don't quite hold anymore. The only reason I mention it is it's a little concerning that if his laws are breaking down, other laws might be breaking down.
All the perils of hell without any of the laws to uphold them.
And I'm sure there's going to be a grasp for power.
Well thought, excuse me.
Thanks, brother.
That will take some getting used to.
Sure.
I do rather enjoy the view of flying through your eyes. I must put some more practice in.
There's not a view out here. What are you talking about? I can't see shit. He looks around and you can follow his gaze for a general view. You can see him turning his head left and right because now you're seeing everything shift left and right. Mm-hmm. But you can't see anything. It's obscured completely. You had noticed that he wasn't passing right over the volcano, but he's passing right near it.
Sure. Did you drop something? Is it?
No.
No. What was that sound?
I don't know. What did you hear?
It sounded like... Oh, I don't know. Hopefully it was a cracking of the volcano on your end and not this pit fiend turning his food into an accordion or something.
You do belong down here. That is a visual I have never thought of. Thank you.
You seem to bring these things out in me.
Maybe it's just the area. Lovely view, isn't it?
Yeah. So, is there anything I should know about Ambermock?
You? No, I'm going to try to see if I can get Gaziel to come to you. That'd be the best way. You don't want to travel around these lands. I mean, you're on foot. That wouldn't work very well. Some of this ground would be too hot for you to even step on. You probably couldn't step foot inside this city. They are a council. This is where law is created in Phlegethos. They don't only adjudicate over their own layer. They do for all layers. All the way up to Nessus.
I was not aware. An interesting set. Government, I suppose.
I mean, it works. It's worked for millennia.
I do admire that. It's a good, strong set of rules. Keeps the lights on, as they say.
Sometimes you notice he doesn't respond or have anything to add. And he's not the one to always want to say one more thing. Unlike you, where you can talk forever, Skizit just stops talking a lot of times. Unless he has something important to say. Or unless he's making fun of someone. He does that quite a bit. No one to make fun of right now except you.
Sometimes when he's having those conversations, I will use his mouth and vocal cords to speak in my voice so that he can have that conversation out loud on his side.
Okay. He hasn't told you how he feels about it.
I can tell him how I feel about it. Hey, this is pretty cool.
He says. It's like, you see his head shake because you see the view go left and right. Is there anything else you want to do?
How long do you imagine it'll take to arrive at the city?
I think I should be there pretty shortly.
Okay. I'm gonna dip back out and check on this pit fiend. Make sure he's not investigating the illusory rock I'm hiding behind. And I'll be back in a moment.
So, when you zone back into your own senses, you don't have to roll your perception. There is a creature there, staring in your general direction, barking at the top of its lungs. Over and over. Continuous barking. And you look and you see this black skinned beast. I think you've actually seen these things before. Once in the Underdark, where you had met this almost wolf-like creature. It has very short hair, a sheen black across the top, and a short little, almost like a horse's mane across the neck and up to the crest of its head, with a long muzzle and sharp teeth, and it blows fire out of its snout. It is staring in your direction, not but 10 feet away, barking. The pit fiend, who was just casually sitting in this small cavern, munching down on some human, stands up, and he walks over there. Give me a save. I'll tell you exactly what it is.
This is going to get real bad real fast.
Go ahead and give me a wisdom save.
Wisdom save. A big fat +0. Wow.
Do you have that up?
No. It's a 2.
That's a 2. Okay.
I nominate Mayor for an inspiration.
Yeah, I used all those up in the fight last week.
Yeah. Impressive use of banishment.
As he gets closer, you are terrified. Literally terrified.
Where are my brown pants?
You are filled with fear next to this creature. You do not want to move closer to it. What happens? You're still behind this illusory terrain that you had nestled yourself in and cast minor illusion over yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Or silent image. I think it was silent image.
I have minor illusion. Do I have silent image? I don't have silent image. So it's minor illusion.
Minor illusion. I thought it was silent image. Minor illusion.
I don't believe I
thought it was your invocation, but you might have traded that out someday.
Oh, yeah. That was one of the first ones I tried.
That's alright. I think minor illusion will still do it. Maybe? Nope,
like
it won't.
Oh.
You'd have had to recast it over and over.
Yeah, when he's not looking. And when
Pretty
he
much.
crunches. Like, I see the bite. I was like,
It is a cantrip and lasts for 1 minute.
oh, snap.
So for the past 5 minutes of the most terrifying 5 minutes of your life, every time he's looking away, you've been like, it doesn't take any verbal. That's the good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You cast minor illusion and it just quickly, because it does drop for like that split second and then quickly walls you up. You've been making sure to do it every time he's looking away.
Oh, boy.
What do you do?
So he's coming toward me.
He lumbers forward 2 steps, that aura of fear. Now you're sitting right on the edges of it, and you are terrified. This thing is really scary. It's something that you haven't dealt with in a long time.
Oh, boy.
We'll get back to
Just
you.
be screwed. That's my French for today.
Roan helps you. He's looking through some different ledgers in Diranor's desk. He's helping you look through the books, anything on the Carruthers. So, Raphael, from what I've gathered, the Carruthers is the other family of Shatterkai. Their daughter was the one I was looking for, Arwell. I don't have any details on them, but we need to be looking for these estates It's not going to be in any of these books. Have them... not Raphael. Reinald. Sorry, anyways. Reinald. Go up to his room and see if you can find anything in there. Anything about the Crothers estates. We'll stay down here. Go ahead and roll your investigation. You'll have advantage. Roan's going to help you.
Looking for a D20. There we go. Oh boy, that's not good for advantage. That'd be a 7, sir.
7.
Plus your...
I have +4.
Oh.
3,
Okay.
3 plus 4.
For
Thought it was a 7 instead of a 2.
a little while, you and him are searching through the desk, mostly just focusing on the desk. And this is going on for a good 15 minutes. And you haven't found anything specific to the estates. You've found mention of different names in these inventories. You found ledgers that had past goods between different parties, and the Crothers came up a few times, but a long time ago, like years ago. So you found really old ledgers. Can't roll a straight roll for my life. There we go. So for your 15 minutes, you don't find anything of note. Go ahead and roll an investigation.
That's a little bit better. 16.
16 is pretty good. You and him start searching through different scrolls, different notebooks that are stuffed into the bookshelves that don't look like they're based around lore or based around fiction. And you're looking more for things that Diranor would have wrote himself. Because you're probably not going to be looking for things written by scholars. And you do come across a scroll. You unravel this scroll. It was stuffed between some books in one of the shelves. And it looks like somewhat of a map. It's a zoomed out view of the city of Shadowfell. That is just kind of a conglomerate circle. It's not actually any shape. There's no little houses drawn in. And off to the side, it's actually off to the southwest. It shows the Carruthers estate, and it shows a few different things around the areas of the city, including mines up north, and some, like it has an arrow pointing down to the southwest corner that says the Plaguelands. The Wastelands. Because it was, you know that it was the Wastelands before it was the Plaguelands. I think that might be it, Raphael. You hear as you kind of look back and Roan standing over your shoulder.
Then I will head towards the Plaguelands.
Towards the estates.
To the estates. Definitely.
The Carruthers estates that we were looking for. Did you forget already?
I have to say my mind is a little scattered as of late. Thank you for your correction.
How are you feeling? He looks around and there's no one else in. He walks over and just kind of, with his foot, kicks the door shut.
I
noticed you were a little short with Gillian.
Things have been different since we have last traveled together. There has been a change in my attitude. Definitely. I don't know if it's been brought on because I've been traveling with the irregulars. I think more of it is that I am finding more about myself now. such as we were in the dream realm. Do you remember me telling you about this?
The Evermere.
The Evermere, correct. Roan, you have known me for a while, and I have always found purpose with you. And ever since I've come back with my second life, I've not feared death. But in the Evermere, a dream world, I felt that fear for the first time as I was drowning. And I'm not sure how to handle this. I've always been even-tempered, and yet I snapped at the bishop incumbent in Oakdale. And I'm not sure why.
Sometimes we don't know why we have all these different feelings. I can't tell you why, and I can't tell you what to do, but I've known you a long time, and it's good that you're exploring them. Someone that can see what they're capable of and see who they are. To have that knowledge of yourself is important.
I suppose so. I've never once questioned why Savras brought me back. He said he would give me a new fate. I always assumed
Did
it
he
was
say
with
what
you.
fate?
No.
That's pretty vague. That would be like the deities, wouldn't it? To give you a fate and not tell you what it is. I don't think I believe in true destiny or where your fate's already been written.
Well, have you not looked into the eyes of a god of fate?
This is true. I believe I still have free will, and my actions matter. And I think everyone should live like that, because once you stop believing that, it becomes easy to become something that you're not, to let the world overtake you and take whatever actions you choose because your destiny is already written.
I suppose maybe for you, but I still believe mine is different.
So we need to contact Artegan again. That means we won't be able to contact any of your other friends after you meet up with him for another full 24 hours. I won't be able to do this again until next dawn. Let's just hope they're okay. Hopefully they're just back in Oakdale.
I'm sure that's where they went to.
So he takes a minute, and then he'll message you again, Artegan.
Mm-hmm.
We've found the estate. Is it actually a good place to meet? Looks like trouble. Maybe meet at the walls at the southwest gate. I think that's all he'll say for now.
Okay. I'll say, okay, I will meet you there. I know it is trouble and have a plan.
Artegan has a plan. I'm not going to meet him. I'm sending you there. You want to take your retainers. It will be dangerous.
I've thought of this. And I'll bring Gillian.
Gillian it is.
I'll return him once we are done.
All right. So you'll go and fetch Gillian and let him know that he'll be squiring for you once again. We are going to flip back to Merritt here. Should we take a break? Is it? No, it's too early.
It's a little early.
It's only 8:30. It feels like a lot more has happened.
If I'm gonna die, let's get it over with later.
You make a character during the break.
Yeah.
Maybe you can make Gilligan.
Gilligan? It's not Gilligan.
3 hour. All right. So first thing I do.
First thing.
I'm going to use my tiefling ability to
Okay.
cast darkness and explode a 15-foot radius around of pure dark.
Roll your initiative.
5.
He does win.
Okay.
He takes 2 steps forward. The hellhound, the creature that's barking at the top of his lungs, it's going almost ballistic in your general direction. Darkness surrounds you. It centers on you with a 15-foot radius globe of darkness. The creature has not stopped barking, even because of this. Okay. That was your action. You're assuming... Oh, no, you're not assuming anything. That was your action.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see. What do? You have a move? You have a bonus action?
I am going to not move, but I am going to begin with a whisper and turn it into the loudest, creepiest whisper I can manage. Just make noises as though I were coming out of some sort of weird temporal tunnel. Literally with my voice in the dark.
Give me a performance check.
Whoa. Oh, that's not...
18.
I thought that was a 19.
Are you trying to convey anything in specific, say in Infernal or any language, or
I
are you
do speak
just making
Infernal,
noises?
But this is supposed to just be a noise of some sort. But it's definitely getting louder. Perhaps as though something were coming through a tunnel.
You have thaumaturgy too?
Yeah, that's another action though.
Oh.
Young devil, I can see through anything. It looks directly at you.
I can't see him.
That's true. What are you doing here? You thought you were being so quiet in your little corner. You thought you were hiding so well. If I wanted to, I would snatch you up. Just like that. What's your AC?
14.
You feel a large claw wrap around your shoulders and your neck. Thunk! And grapple you. Grap you.
You are rapidly.
You feel yourself being lifted off the stone bench. Who are you? This dog, this hellhound, has not stopped barking the entire time he's talking, and it's making things hard to hear. You don't see, you hear thwack, and it stops barking. You feel your body kind of move as it shakes a little as he's moving around.
I'm going to use thaumaturgy to boom my voice 3 times louder than it normally would be. And I'm going to continue to whisper. And I say, "The Lord Gaziel summons you."
Go ahead and roll a wide. What is that? Deception.
Maybe?
Oh, no. That's a 1.
That's 1. The Lord Babyo summons you.
You feel your body loose through the air. You're no longer being grappled as you are now feeling that sensation of flying, and then you hit a wall. Take 6 bludgeoning damage.
I'm going to drop darkness.
You hit the wall, you drop the darkness. It's not that you're having to roll concentration. You just drop it. You want to be able to see again.
It's not helping.
You look over and you're on your side on the bench. You see this large, monstrous devil whose wings are slightly flared, kind of a threatening flare. He doesn't have his cudgel that he had, or his scythe that he had set still standing against the stone bench. And you also see the hellhound has a big gash to the top of its back. It looks like it's fresh and it's bleeding. And it's kind of hunkered down, almost whimpering pitifully. You hit the stone.
Pick myself up.
Gaziel did not summon me.
He will soon enough. I say as bravely as I can.
Do you get to roll a save for fear after
What
your turn?
makes you think you can speak his name here? He takes 2 threatening steps forward, and he is really big. He almost touches the ceiling with how tall he is. He's about 10.5 feet tall.
I have almost no spells remaining. Doesn't help. I have come in search of him, and he is searching for me. Perhaps you can net yourself a grand prize by assisting our reunion. I say from the floor.
You're still on your side. You're talking to him sideways. You start lifting yourself up a little just so you're ready in case something does happen. You can die with your eyes open instead of closed in fear.
Mm-hmm.
He takes one more step forward. He's within easy grappling range of you, but it's still about 5 feet away from you. Looks down. How do you know, Gaziel? When he talks, you can smell the rank smell of death from his breath, mixed in with just Phlegethos' awful smells in the first place. It's nauseating. It's like a heavy heat wafts over you.
He has chosen me. He knows me better than I know him.
Chosen you for what?
That is between Gazio.
Tell me, he says, and he goes to grab you again. Well, what's your AC? 14?
Don't botch.
He did not botch.
Yeah, you got it, I'm sure.
He
I have a negative
picks you
strength
up.
modifier.
Tell me, devil. Give me an intelligence check.
Oh, come on. 10.
10. You think he recognizes you as a devil,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably good.
Doesn't seem to be buying me much extra grace.
Well, you saw what happened to the non-devil in the room.
Mm-hmm. And the dog is still relatively alive, so...
It whimpers.
Mm. Fine. Let's see how well I can lie first. Ooh. That's 23. So I say, this was one of my final tests. I needed to gather all of the strongest allies so that he could make a play for the throne.
What'd you roll?
23. I can't see it because it's behind the thing. So I have no idea.
He's making a play for the throne that will be just like him.
He said he has to move fast with Asmodeus gone.
And you're helping him.
I am tasked to do my master's bidding. He believes you to be a key to the plan. And he promised you entire circles of hell should we succeed.
Roll again.
Come on, buddy. Give me the good. Yes, 24.
You're not trained in it, are you?
No.
That's amazing.
I'm just have a high charisma.
We will just see about that. You're coming with me.
I was bid to tell you that he is in Ambermark and awaits your presence, O Lord.
Then we'll go together.
Yay. Let out a squeaky fart of nervousness.
What?
I'm so terrified of this guy.
You broke Ryan. Genius.
What the fuck?
Give me a cookie.
Give him all the cookies. Inspiration.
Thank you, sir.
They're a bit crumbly.
Oh boy. You could have used an inspiration earlier. Have an inspiration.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to need those. Pretty soon, I'm going to need another one.
He doesn't loosen his grasp on you. In fact, he tightens it, uncomfortably so. His strength is unlike any, maybe as strong as when Deloran's picked you up and moved you around, but not as nice, not as friendly. He is not gentle.
He doesn't have the gentle hands of a Cooper.
Nope. He has the strong, fiendish hands of a pit fiend.
All right, so I have to let my senses sit back over to Skizit. I say, change of plans.
You say that as you now see Skizit like hovering over this city, and the city looks like it's been built from this volcanic rock. A lot of the buildings look like they are natural pillars that have been hollowed and carved through rivers of magma that surround them like little islands. Kind of like I don't know, Venice, except magma.
Okay.
There's a lot of skyways or sky bridges that pass between these different buildings, and the buildings are all made out of really tough stone. Obviously, the only thing that can withstand that kind of heat and melting point. But you do see this one large metal, almost cathedral-looking building. It does have this solid metal steeple, and the metal has this sheen, the shine. Unlike any metal you've seen, except for the scythe that this pit fiend carries. It has about the same sheen, and when you get a good look as you're going in and back out and into the senses to make sure you're not dead yet, as you appear back into the pit fiend's area, you're being flown through the air by this creature. And when he flares his wings, it's a powerful, loud sound as he starts taking off through the air. But you look at his scythe and you can see that same green sheen hue.
Interesting. So I say, change of plans, Skizit. I am being escorted by a noble pit fiend who would like to aid Gaziel in his attempt to overthrow the Nine Hells. Please.
What the fuck are
Yeah.
you talking
So,
about? What?
You have some talking points. A pit fiend is bringing me to Gaziel in Ambermark.
Oh.
And so we kind of talked about things, and I said that...
Are you sure that's where he's bringing you?
No, but that's where I told him to bring me. And he seems intrigued because I promised him rulership of some of the circles of hell when Gaziel rules everything in Asmodeus' absence.
Okay, then.
Yeah. Oh, I can barely breathe. Hold on a second. And I zip back.
All right. You zip back. Artegan.
Mm-hmm.
You head towards the southwestern gate.
Mm-hmm.
You're heading from the outside and you're flying through the air.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty dark when you got up to this vantage point. The only thing you really see are the lights from the city, which you're literally right next to.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of took a perimeter view of the whole city by now.
Mm-hmm.
And you really didn't see anything off into the wastelands, off into the dark. There's no flickering lights coming from that way that you could see. But you've also noticed that light is much dimmer in the Shadowfell, where, you know, in the Prime Materia, you could see for miles and miles and miles away different lights or sources. Like, if you were looking at a town from atop a mountain, you could probably see the lights from the town.
Mm-hmm.
You've noticed it doesn't seem like that in the Shadowfell, because when you get a little further from the city, those lights start to dim until they're just out of sight. You're not sure why. It's probably the way the Shadowfell is, but it's not natural. And that's when you got your message from Roan of where to meet. Raphael, you are taking Gillian. Gillian has his armor on. He puts his helmet onto his head. He's got one of those bucket helms with the nose piece that goes down his nose. And he carries a sword and board, just like you. And you've practiced with him as he is your retainer. He's helped squire for you in battle. But you're on foot right now. And horses are more of a luxury in the Shadowfell. And you have no access to horses that you know of.
Gillian, you are ready for this.
I am ready. I think I'm ready.
Just do as I say. Stay close. If I tell you to run, you go.
I know you said that Artegan has a plan. Do you have a plan?
Yes. Is to stay aside of Artegan. Protect him. And you will
Then
do
I
the
will
same.
protect you.
How are you doing as a Shadowfell? You've been here for a while. Are you starting to feel the effects?
No. Roan has told me that it is only after like a week or so. We haven't been down here that long.
Hopefully soon, we'll all be sitting around my fire, drinking wine, and recanting the tales.
As you guys are headed outside the manse, you see Frederick and Reinald and Roan meeting you at the entrance. Roan looks at you both. Good luck out there.
One thing, brothers, gather around. Take a knee with me.
So all the brothers will take a knee. Is this a pep talk?
Yeah,
Is this your huddle?
right.
All right.
So I'll just look them all in the eye, say,
Short.
there's nothing to be nervous about. Fate does not ask you what you want, right? Fate knows what is best for you, even if you don't. Renald, Frederick, your duty is to protect Roan. Do so with no fear. We will return here soon.
So they all know to listen. Reinald just nods up and down while you're talking. Frederick, he looks at you. Good luck out there. I know you will be coming back. We will protect Roan.
I know you will. I bid you adieu.
They give you a clasp on the shoulder. And they say their goodbyes. You will walk out the door with Gillian. And you head towards the southwest gate. You do pass by a few undead guard. They don't pay you any mind. They don't look your way as you're passing by. They seem to have returned to somewhat of a normalcy. Normalcy, at least for the Shadowfell. For Shadowstorm. And it only takes you like 7-8 minutes to get there. Artegan, you're already hovering in the air and you see a couple figures leave the city. They're the only people you've seen leave the city at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people probably do leave the safety of these walls. And it is definitely a Raphael and someone else that you've never seen before.
Okay. I'll fly up to him
So
once they leave the city.
once you're outside of the city, not too far away, Artegan appears to you, hovering through the air, and he lands nearby.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. You ready?
Can you first explain what happened?
So we found some cultists in the street. I talked to one of them, charmed him, got him to tell me some information about the cult in the area, and it sounds like their headquarters is the Carruthers estate.
And these are the cult of Naru.
Yes.
Then we will take him down. This is Gillian. He's one of my retainers.
It's good to meet you, Artegan. I've heard much about you.
As have I. From Raphael.
Yes, I speak about you all the time.
His face brightens up a little. What is the plan?
The plan is malleable. I got 2 loose plans at the moment. Will change depending on what we see when we get there. So.
We did not get much information from Dear Norris, but we know at least where it is. We don't know how many there will be.
Do you think there's a possibility that Dearnor may have been captured by them?
I don't know.
We did not see anything, no evidence of where Dearnor is. But we may find who Roan was looking for, a lady named Arwell. She was one of Dearnor's...
Prodigies.
Thank you.
Well then, let's go.
So the plan is malleable.
Mm-hmm.
Are we just going to walk into the front gates?
We'll see how well guarded it is first.
So we will do reconnaissance.
Yeah, reconnaissance may change to full-on attack if it's not defended well enough.
That is not my specialty. I will stay by your side. Is that what you will be doing?
I think so.
Then we go.
Thinking the plan is going to be me getting them to come out, and you guys are going to mostly take them out as they come out.
We will do that.
You guys head into the void, into the black, and you can see now the blood moon is starting to rise. You see half of the blood moon cresting the landscape, and it's not quite light enough to shed a dim light over the entire world, but it's close. And at that point, you know you'll be able to finally actually see around you and see a lot further than you could before. Merit. You are jumping back and forth between the senses of your familiar and your own senses of being flown, being carried by a pit fiend through hell.
Indeed.
It feels weird to say that as a sentence.
It's a lot going on.
Every once in a while, you'll jump back, and he is determined, and he's flying quickly. Much quicker than what you are used to. And it is hot. It's easily 110 Fahrenheit. And you are sweating.
They use Fahrenheit in hell. Of course they do.
Because I don't want to convert. It is so hot that you're sweating on your undergarments, whatever you have under your hide armor. If you still have your hide armor on, it's getting to the point where your undergarments are completely soaked. And I'm assuming you still have your hide armor on, because that's what he was throwing you around in.
Mm-hmm.
Like a ragdoll.
Yeah. Well, the sweat bath is actually helping to rinse out those undergarments, which were already pretty soaked.
It's been a while since you've washed them.
Oh, I mean, I was extremely afraid of the pit fiend.
Ah. That afraid. when you said brown pants, you weren't joking.
Maybe a little bit.
So, eventually, you can see the smoke and ash of this volcano clear. And you can see into this large city with magma rivers. He flies directly into the heart of the city, and what you see is what it looks kind of like a wagon wheel spoke, where the middle is this large circular tower made out of stone, that same blackened rock, and land bridges expanding from them like the spokes to different cities, and after a certain point it stops becoming a wheel and it just becomes different directions that every land bridge goes, and it looks almost like a maze from above, a labyrinth of sorts. But in the center of the city, it looks like some semblance of
order.
Not symbiosis. What's the
Symmetry?
word? Symmetry, not asymmetry. He flies you down to the top of that tower. What do?
Well, as we're approaching, I would peek in with Skizit, see where he is, and depending on that, I would return back into my body.
Skizit is following a large devil, a really large devil. You've seen him once or twice in your visions in the past. You can tell immediately this is Gaziel. You see the tips of his pink horns that are flowing backward and long. They kind of follow the shape of his elongated skull. His skull-like face is chalk white, although all you can see is his back with this long swishing tail, and Skizit's kind of trying to do some maneuvers around the tail. And then you feel and see thump, it hit him once by accident. He's like, ah! And he tries to like rise above it as he's trying to maneuver around it, mostly for fun.
Just kind of playing.
Gaziel has this really long green sheen spear, the same that you've seen before. This different kind of metal. He is probably 15 feet tall, and he's lumbering through these stonework tunnels. He does not have wings. That's one thing you know about him. For what kind of devil he is, you believe he probably cannot fly, at least not naturally. He has these huge bone spikes that protrude from his back. Looks like part of his skeletal structure has decided to leave the backside of his body in different spikes. And you can actually see the skin where it has broken through has finally healed down to the bone. Sealed him in.
He's in underground tunnels at the moment?
He's in stonework tunnels, and they seem like they're carved into pure rock. They're not like one stone laid on top of the other. It just looks like carved in. But that's what a lot of the buildings in this city look like in the first place.
Sure.
When he steps, he does have large hoofs and digitigrade legs. He can probably move really quickly because he's not even trying. It's like, and Skizit's trying to keep up with him while he's just walking.
So I'll leave that view and then go back to my body and the pit fiend.
All right. Give me a Constitution check.
Okay. Start there. 29.
So that's really good. There's a few different things going on. For one, he's not carrying you gently. And your arm is starting to go numb because he has you gripped around the shoulders and the body, and one of your arms got caught in his grip.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of has his fingers around the side here, and then your shoulder here. That arm's going down.
Okay.
It's been a little bit of a flight. It does not feel good. The second thing is the heat is starting to affect you, even with your resistance to fire. It's hotter than it was. It's really hot. The one benefit that you have that nobody else in this party would, you have hoofs. You can see the stone is hot. There's that effect that you can see the, not steam, but the air waves, moving so slightly off the rock. That's how hot it is. The pit fiend lands.
I'm kind of waiting to see if is he letting me go? Is he throwing me down? Does he keep on holding me?
Roll an acrobatics as he kind of just drops you.
Oh. 13.
Sorry, I need a drink. I've been talking a lot this game.
It's been a very narrative session.
13, you hit your hooves, you hit the ground. You actually do stabilize yourself with your hand. And you take 3 fire damage. So halved.
Yeah.
Psst, you're like, it's a little hot.
Hot.
When you stand up, you're okay. As long as your skin is not touching the ground.
Okay. I take a quick look back at the pit fiend standing up behind me.
Where is Gaziel? You said he summoned me. Take me to him.
Very well. And I very obviously, hold my hands together and tip my head back and stare out, and I'll return to Skizit's perspective.
Alright, so you see him still following that large devil, following Gaziel. He's getting really good at maneuvering around the tail as it's whipping, and when it whips, it's like, sometimes it hits against the wall and it makes a loud smack. At the end of the tail, you see more of that bone-like structure that has broken out of its own skin, but it's darkened. It's not pure white. It's like blackened almost.
Okay. And through Skizit's body, with my own voice, I say, Lord Gaziel.
In your own voice. That was as good as you could get right there.
Yeah, I want to get as stern sounding as possible. And I say, one who shows merit has returned.
He turns around. You see his face for the first time in actuality. You've seen it in dreams before. You've seen it in visions, but you've never seen it. Here, the one difference between your visions and your dreams is the hollows of his eyes are kind of this blackened void. There's no orbs in them. There's almost nothing in them. He bends down almost nose to nose. Well, nose holes to nose from his skull-like face.
This vessel brings a message from the courtyard outside in Ambermock. To see if there's anything.
Nothing.
He's not helping? Okay. We seek parley and I bring you a gift.
Nothing.
Where may I serve you?
He looks at the little imp. Go find him. Because it zips around him and comes up against this door that they were headed to. Sheepishly turns around back to him, and you see him as if he's about to strike Skizit. Slams past him. You hear the door crack as it just cracks this wooden door open, and you hear the wood break and splinter in the hinges. And Skizit looks around, and the door is now askew and kind of opening on its own and flapping because it's not connected to the wall anymore. And zips up some stairs, and he zips around some corners and zips through a window, and up, and he's like taking a scan of the city. You're taking a scan of yourself from above like a drone, and you see yourself just like a drone would see you from far out. You see yourself in the middle hub of this city, and he was on a different section, but not too far from where you're at.
Okay. And I'm going to, while looking through Skizit's eyes, I'm going to raise my hand until it's pointed at where my vision is coming from. And then I will drop and return and look up. I'm going to say, he waits there and is in no kind mood. And I'll just take the initiative and start walking.
You start walking across this sky bridge that's connected all the buildings. You actually have to take a short hop down to the first part, which isn't going to be much. It's like a large step.
Okay.
2 feet. You notice that there's nothing under you except magma. The rivers of magma that flow through the city and cut off the different buildings like they're islands are all well, that's where the bridges all cross. There's no railings to these bridges. They are 10 feet in width.
Ocean does not approve.
But they are 10 feet in width. So you can get in the middle and make sure you're not too close one side or the other. And you don't fall into the magma.
Yeah.
And you start walking. And the pit fiend does not walk behind you. He lifts up and takes to the air. Until eventually, as you're like halfway across this bridge, you see creatures start emerging as if he's walking up some steps. First, you see just the top part of his head. And then you see Gaziel's full face. And then you see his shoulders as he's coming into view on this next building over. He stops when he's fully revealed at the top of whatever stairs he was climbing. And he waits.
Is he flying behind me still?
More parallel. Not behind you. He's over the bridge itself.
Okay, I'm gonna zip my little imp skizit back down toward me.
If you were watching through his senses, which you're probably not because you want to stay focused,
I'm gonna try not to trip as I'm climbing stairs.
walking across this bridge, he lands on your shoulder. Actually, he hovers near your shoulder. He doesn't actually sit on your shoulder. He does say, "This is fucked up."
I'm gonna say, you are probably due for a new master. Best of luck in whatever comes next for you.
You cross the bridge, and Gaziel stands there in full form. 15 feet tall, of lean, red muscle. He only has like a loincloth on, and a giant golden buckle of a skull. What do you do?
I make eye contact.
So your voids of your eyes meet the voids of his.
Mm-hmm. And I say, Lord Gaziel, I bring you the pit fiend Artegan, as requested. I make up a name. And I hope he protests and says, that's not my name.
Okay. Raphael.
Oh no, dude, you just broke it!
You start your journey towards the estate. From what you learned, actually, you almost learned nothing. And you almost learned nothing about where you're going. You just know the direction it is.
Mm-hmm.
It won't take you long to get where you need to go. In fact, it'll still be within 15 minutes of your flight where you can take to the air. You get up into the air to look in the direction you're heading, and what you see is a pretty large flat plateau that has a couple gradient curves upwards until you see just that plateau, and that's where the entire estate is built. You see like 6-7 structures built atop of it, and to the side of it, not built on the plateau, is a large stone tower. It looks like it's kind of in ruin, though. It's not been repaired when it fell to disrepair. No one's tended to it, from what you can tell. And you do see the one difference about this estate than anything else in the Shadowfell is the entire plateau is lush and fertile and green. There's trees, there's growth, there's plants. It looks like they have a few fields in front of some of these structures, these buildings. But you don't make out a lot of detail because you're still pretty far away.
Mm-hmm.
And they do have some paths, you can tell from here, going across the plateau, up and around these structures. What do you do?
I'll fly down and give a description of the area.
Okay. So you fly down to Raphael.
Do you see anything?
There's some green. It appears that something on the land has made it more fertile than the rest of the Shadowfell.
Do you believe that's where the Coella's estate is?
I believe so.
How long will it take to get there?
Did I have an estimate?
10 minutes.
10 minutes?
By foot?
Yeah.
So in your OneNote, there is a map. It's under World. I'll put on the map on the battle cam.
Mapplecam.
The Mapple.
Underworld or World and Cities? Oh, there
Probably
it is.
World.
I see it. That's cool. I like that map. Okay.
That's kind of the overhead view you get, although less detailed.
Mm-hmm. It's like there's multiple buildings.
Quite a few different buildings. Some are obviously much larger than the what you would think are housing.
So how many buildings did you see?
Well, it looks like there was 4 houses that are a little bit bigger. There's 4 or 5 buildings off to the side. And there's the tower.
From this distance, you see a person walking across from one house to another in the front, one of those first 4 buildings, the closest ones to you. And give me a perception.
Perception, that is a 22.
It's not bad. Looks like they have something something is running nearby them, but it's not a humanoid. It's on all 4s. It's too far away to make out. It's definitely some kind of animal. It's running quick, though. Runs past them.
And which house is it going into?
It is going into the furthest house on the right.
Okay. Looks like there's 2 places that we can go up, the left side or the right side. I think I'll try to position us so we're heading up to the right side so it's closest to that house.
So you're going to go towards the incline where it gradually rises up to that plateau.
Because I can fly, but these guys can't.
Or I could, but I'm not going to waste my spells on that.
Yeah.
And we will just go to the front and wait.
Yeah, kind of stay in the... what kind of crops did it look like?
It's hard to tell, but you can see one of the crops is almost looks like tall grass from here.
Okay.
You would think it's probably some kind of wheat.
Maybe you guys could hide in the field and I could draw them out.
And once they are out, you just want us to attack?
Yeah, that's my current idea.
This is not the plan.
I've gotten reconnaissance.
I suppose so. I will
Gillian,
do whatever you say.
this is Artegan. I trust him.
This is everything you told me about. It sounds a lot like Deloran.
I've learned from the best.
Right now, just trust your instincts.
Then we will
He runs.
wait in the fields and hope for the best.
I'm planning that they're probably going to come running out of the building, so I'll just intercept them when they come out. I'll try to provide some aerial support.
Very well. And off we go. So, Raphael and Gillian will have to make some stealth checks.
Okay. And it's going to be disadvantage because we have armor on.
It's going to be disadvantage. You head towards the incline. You don't see anyone out here, like, guarding. There's no one at the edges of the plateau, which, when you get closer, you can tell the plateau is actually like almost cliff-faced walls that are going up 10 feet, 15 feet, depending where you're at from the ground. It's not like really high. You could jump down one side and survive to tell about it. But you do see an animal that moves from one of the fields to the other. It's still pretty far off, but give me a perception.
Me as well, or no?
Are you going with them to roll your stealth, or are you gonna... Where are you going?
I'm probably above them, but kind of following the same position area.
Okay.
Well, I got a 15.
Yes, give me a stealth roll with disadvantage.
Let's see, that is a... Let's see, lowest of the two is a 17.
Okay. What'd you get?
I got a 15.
You guys are somewhat noisy in your armors as you're walking across the land. Ka-chung, ka-chung, ka-chung. But you're doing your best to stay quiet, to stay slow. You aren't quite on the incline yet. You see the creature enter into the tall grass field and disappear.
Did I get a better look at what it is?
From where you're at, it looks like it might be a large dog, but it's pitch black.
Looks like we may have some canine units going into the fields, so be careful.
But you're not near them,
Oh,
so they didn't see this.
okay. I'll fly down and give them a heads up.
You'll fly down?
Yeah.
Because they're kind of nearing the front of that incline, which is getting really close. If you flew down, you would be visible. Because there's literally nothing to hide behind. The only reason you get a stealth check is because you're up in the air and no one's probably looking up.
Okay.
But once you cross that threshold, especially across the sky, it'll be easy to see you.
Okay, so I wouldn't even get a stealth check. People would just see me.
Probably if anyone's looking in that general way.
Okay.
You would know this.
Okay, I'll,
Just like if we were out on the open road and a bird crossed the sky, you're gonna see it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll stay up then. I'm not gonna try to give away my position.
You can do other things. You can cast spells. Gillian looks at Raphael. This is exciting.
Calm your emotions. Focus.
Yes.
What we are doing right now is not exciting.
This will be the first battle I've had in a long time.
I wish you luck.
You start walking up the incline quietly. Give me another stealth check. You are still in the air. You won't have to.
Okay.
16.
16. Same thing as last time. He seems to be doing well for himself, staying as quiet as he can, tiptoeing across as well as he can in armor. And you're going to come up to the edge of that field. The first field nearest you. And this is one of the tall grass fields. Not all of them are the same. Not all fields are the tall grass fields. One of them looks like a grove almost, like a grove of trees. Shorter, shrubby trees. And that's the one nearest that right building. You enter into the tall grass, and it is definitely some very thick and lush wheat stalks that have grown up even past your heads. 8-9 feet high. Like huge fields. And you enter into the fields. You lose sight of them. What do you do?
I fly to the top of the building.
Which building?
The furthest one to the right, the one that the creature and the person went into.
You fly to the top of the building. So you continue staying very high. You have about 10 minutes left of flight, concentration left of the hour. And you are now looking directly down at it. As you're looking down, you see someone exit the front door. You're just looking down at the top of someone's head. How high up are you? 60 feet, 80 feet, 200 feet, 1,000 feet?
Probably more like, if I'm right even with the house, I'd be at the top of the highest point of it.
So you're going downward.
Yep.
When you get right above it, you start your downward descent You won't be right above it for now. When you see this happen, when this person leaves the entrance of this house, give me a perception check. Advantage, because Gillian's helping.
Let's see. So 12 and... let's see, 18.
18?
Mm-hmm.
You see Artegan in the air, just like if someone was looking in that area. You see him dropping down above the house. He's kind of just floating down in a standing position. He doesn't fly like Superman, like head first. And he's slowly going out of view from you because you can't see over the 8-foot-high wheat stalks.
Gillian. We wait for Artegan to draw everyone out. If there is a chance, I want you to search the buildings for Arwell.
I do not know what she looks like.
You will have to figure this out.
Very well. I will go that way.
No, you do not leave, only on my cue.
Understood.
When I get to the top of the building, I will use True Polymorph and turn into a adult white dragon.
Oh, shit.
Fairly well, campaign.
God damn it.
And I'm just going to try to rip open the top of the ceiling and just cold breath inside.
Goodbye, Arwell.
Let's see. Initiative would be as a dragon?
Initiative as an adult white dragon.
That'd be a 16.
Initiative. Initiative, everyone. Initiative.
13. We had a white dragon.
That's not a white dragon. It's going to be so awesome.
So, what's an alignment of the white dragon?
Doesn't matter. It follows my alignment.
Oh, that's right.
And it's
I just hope this doesn't turn into one of those squid and octopus things where...
Damn it. This is what we've been waiting for. We've done a lot of talking today. You guys got to fight for a while.
It might be a fight that extends through the ages. Or next game. But we'll probably hop back and forth between lots of talking and politics and killing shit. That was that. And then last... that. Alright, I've got myself a good order. You rip open the top of this. It's not even a house. Like, it's much bigger than a house would be. It has few different wings that go off in different ways. From directly above, the steeple roofs don't give any detail to what this could actually be. But when you rip open the top, your weight crushes into the top of the roof, and you can feel your claws sink into the sides for purchase. You're now straddling as you're ripping. So you're straddling your clawed feet on the framing of the house to support your weight as you're ripping the top open like a tin can. And you're just prying it open. Wood and slate shatters. Your claws dig in deep. You rip off the roof. The first thing you'll see is a lady looking up at you in a bath, screaming at the top of her lungs.
Oh, no.
Merritt.
What?
Merit. You called the pit fiend
Artegan.
something. It sounded somewhat like you were saying... What did you say exactly?
Lord Gaziel, I present the pit fiend Artegan as requested.
Okay.
Is there like a beat of silence?
There definitely is a beat of silence.
And I turn to the pit fiend because now I am more scared of Gaziel than the pit fiend. And I say, declare your allegiance if you wish to survive this. And I click my steps slowly toward Gaziel.
The pit fiend lands. He was hovering in the air. Didn't hit the ground. This creature. He looks up at Gaziel and he talks unabashed. Said that you were trying to take over Bantor. Gaziel looks down at you. Looks over at him. Zadkiel. He looks at the pit fiend. You will leave for now. The pit fiend doesn't say a word. Turns around and then he takes 3 giant steps, crashing to the ground. He turns around. This isn't over. Zadkiel doesn't flinch, doesn't move a muscle.
I wait for it to fly away.
And then after a long pause, you hear more steps fade in the background now. As you can tell, he's lifted off and taken to the air. He says, and he turns around and goes down the steps. And what you see is he was climbing some steps that look like kind of like a fire escape around this squared building.
Fire escape in hell.
And he's just going down these steps to the next level of this building where he enters into an archway inside. And the steps are very large. As you're going down them, you have to take like little short hops off the steps. Make sure you're doing it, to the best of your ability. You don't stumble because there's no railing on the side. And again, it's magma on the side. You look down because the steps are only like 4.5 feet wide. So enough for you and Gaziel. Well, Gaziel is like massive to these steps, and he just goes down them in a few strides, but seems to be doing all right with his footing. You look over and you can see the magma kind of lapping against the side of the stone, and it is hot. That heat, when you look over the edge, hits you in the face. You lean against the wall by accident.
Hey.
And take another fire damage.
1 damage.
You still get in your footing in hell.
No, it doesn't matter if I heal myself. If it goes bad, it's going to go all the way bad. There's no way around it right now.
You walk through the archway. You look up, and the archway is 20 feet tall. In the hallways, when it was Skizit's vision, looking at Gaziel, it seemed like he fit comfortably in these hallways. Yeah, they're massive to you. Definitely made for large creatures. You feel like probably how a halfling would feel in a normal person's house or normal castle.
Okay.
You go through the archway and you go through a series of tunnels. You actually pass by a room where right before you get to it, Gaziel reaches in and slams the door shut before you get a good view of what's in there.
Did I get a bad view of what's in there?
You did. You got a bad view of a room where the light was very bright, like against the walls, almost blinding. And your perception's a natural 20. You heard someone whimpering in there. When the door shuts, that cuts off the sound.
Okay.
And he continues through the stone building, down another set of very large stairs. And it's hotter as the further you go down. It's much hotter. Well, not much. It just gradually increases in
Keeps
heat.
getting worse.
You are pouring sweat at this point. It feels like you're just leaking.
And he is completely immune to this, apparently.
Yep. He hasn't said a word, and you have to stay pretty far behind him for that powerful tail that just swishes back and forth at its own accord. Sometimes it smacks against the stone. And when it does, every once in a while you'll see it like create a spark.
Interesting.
That end of his tail, that bony extrusion.
It's like the head of a match or something. Exciting.
And he walks you into a smallish, compared to some of the buildings, circular room where it looks like he has set up shop. It's hard to describe because it's terrifying in a lot of ways. The first thing you notice is there's two large columns that hold candles, but they're made out of skulls. And they adorn the entrance when you first walk in. They're kind of set atop each other, somehow melded together. You're not really sure, maybe with fire or magma. But they're basically soldered together, welded together. And atop of these skulls, these large, fat, ever-burning candles are shoved into them. You look a little closer and you can see the candle that's set into it basically just cracked the top of the skull open and was set into it like that. Ding. It's a little hollow.
Nice place you have here.
He walks to the other end of this circular room where there is a large throne also made out of skulls and bones. And these are all different types. Some probably humanoid, some of the faceless skulls, some probably devil-like. In fact, the one that adorns the back of his throne is a very large skull, much larger than a man. It looks kind of like a pit fiend's skull, from what you've seen of the one pit fiend you've ever met in your life. In this circular room, there are different sorts of devils that look like they might be some sort of guard. And I'll tell you what you find.
Go to Gaziel's room. Friends over.
There is one black-plated armor lady that's standing near his throne. She's not sitting. She has a pale white face with this horned black-plated helm. She has these huge, almost feathery, red-fired wings that protrude from her back. And there is another chair near his where she would sit, but she is standing for now. She looks like she has some sort of long metal. It's that same green metal that you've seen, but it's coiled around and it looks like it's loose and flexible, kind of like a long rope or a whip. But it's very long and it's coiled around the armrest of her tiny throne compared to his. You see a few different devils that are terrifying in nature. They're a mass of red muscle and flesh with no discernible face and these hollows where the eyes might be, but chains that are extending out from different areas of their body that look like they've just been grown out of their body, not connected to anything but their flesh. And they aren't moving. There's two on each side, these chain devils. You've read about them, you've never seen them. The pictures do them no justice in the books that you grew up with. At the end of each chain are massive green metal hooks, and they are not pristine and clean. They are stained and reddened. They have definitely been used against other flesh. The center aisleway to his throne is a large black stone walkway, and on each half circle around it, there's a perimeter stone, and then there's just lava in the middle.
Love this shit.
It is hot, much hotter than it was above ground. He walks over to his throne, he turns around and he sits, and he motions you to walk towards him.
I do so.
You do so. The sweat's pouring off of you. You're still in your hide armor.
Mm-hmm. I figure giving this guy a striptease is not going to end well, so I keep all my armor on. I approach until... Well, does he ever bid me to stop or anything?
So you approach until you get about 10 feet away. He holds up his hand, these long, long fingers with these giant claws at the end. Kneel.
I've been kneeling before kings all game. No big deal. I go to one knee.
You go to one knee. It is hot. The stone is scalding. You take another fire damage as your knee touches the ground.
Well, just add it to the list of things racing through my brain, trying to come up with a way to deal with that.
Zadkiel.
I lift my head up.
You lift your head up and you look at him, and he is perched up on his throne. He's not relaxed. He is tensed. And he's looking down at you. I always knew you'd come back. I never thought it would be in life. What brings you here? Don't give me those lies.
I wield increasingly strong and powerful magic. I was taken here by accident. When the Pitch Fiend discovered me, my only hope of escaping his wrath was to turn him into a servant for you.
He is never going to be my servant. And now I have one more enemy to add to my list.
If you ask me to deal with him myself, I will.
How did you come by the idea that I want to take the 9 hells?
Once upon a time, you said that I showed merit. I assumed that meant that my ideas, my inklings, and my urges reflected your own.
And now you send this devil out with those ideas. And now he'll repeat them to others. I think you can see how this might make everything tricky.
It would appear in my haste I have put my foot in it.
Take another damage. And another damage. Your knee is starting to get hot.
Mm-hmm.
It actually would behoove you to switch knees as you're kneeling.
Mm-hmm. Behoove me. Yeah, I will at least pry that knee up off the ground and kind of try to balance for a second and see if
Get
he
some reprieve from the heat.
hates that idea.
Give me an athletics.
One.
And your knee immediately drops back down. Take another damage.
Are you gonna die?
I mean, eventually. We all die eventually.
And here you are, Zankiel, my son, home again at last. Tell me, has your journey in the prime material brought you joy?
It has. Brought me everything else as well.
Why should I let you leave here alive if I were to throw you into that lava? You'd come right back, but not alive. What will you do in the prime material to increase my standing?
I have a greater influence today than I did even a week ago. And a greater influence then than a week before that. It seemed that my power is not yet peaked. If there is something specific you seek of me, I will perform those tasks as best this mortal form can handle.
Once upon a time, I met a man, a fallen angel named Ramio. He allowed me to walk the world, the prime material. 15 years ago, in fact. And some change. He smiles, kind of. His skull-like face takes the form of what you think might have been a smile in one time or another. And in that year, I learned that he had deceived me, for I was to walk the prime material in someone else's flesh. I want that.
but not held back by mere mortal form. Some might think that I want to take the throne for myself now that Asmodeus is gone. I want to take the world for myself now that all the other gods are gone. I could leave these hells behind. What will you do to increase my standing in the prime material?
I know of a wizard. It will be tricky, but he does have the capability of getting you onto the mortal planes. If that is truly your desire, now may be the only time possible with Asmodeus missing in action.
Yes, you did not come by the river Styx.
Prefer not to go the long way.
Can you take me with you if you leave?
I do not know if I have the power to transport your body. I could get this wizard to do it, I believe. He is unfortunately more powerful than I.
Go ahead and roll.
I'm kind of telling the truth.
You're stretching it.
He definitely wants Gaziel's blood. Well, it depends if you're letting that be persuasion or deception.
I'll let you roll some persuasion.
20.
Did they tell you how I've increased my standing in hell in Phlegathos?
None but my brother.
Since I created you, I have been busy down here. All of Phlegathos is mine, and those that stood before me no longer stand at all.
You have truly grown great with power.
When you leave Phlegathos, you will bring me to the prime material with haste. And if you deceive me, when you die, you're coming back here either way. I will make sure that it is a long, painful eternity. Or if I find someone that can bring me, if you're lying, I will find you.
I have no intent to deceive you. During your travels, even here, I would be surprised if the ripples, the rumors, the one called Magnus Monroe, have not been heard or felt.
Truly pitiful creature.
He is attempting to ascend to godhood, to take on Nerul, and to carve out a space within the heavens as the only remaining god figure. That is the foolish dreams of a mortal. I can see that.
Son, you will accept my brand?
I am in no position to refuse anything you request or command.
He looks over at the lady that sits next to him. Lady, the devil, in armor.
Mm-hmm.
She grabs something that was propped up against her little throne. It is a long metal brand.
Hide armor.
Yeah. I'm gonna bite my tongue off.
She holds it to some torch that's up against the wall, and this torch shines much hotter and much brighter than a normal flame. And it hasn't reduced in flame at all since you've been here. By the way, you're going to take some damage for still kneeling. Another, and another. Your clothes catch on fire.
I have cantrips that control flames. I can put them back out.
You put it out
Just like,
as it catches on fire.
Stop, rock, and roll.
Rise.
oh, thank you.
Turn around. You turn around. You can't see as she approaches. You're looking directly away from her. But you hear her step closer. And then you feel her hand on your shoulder. You hear something drawn from a sheath. You tense up as she jams the dagger through your clothes.
Wait, what?
And rips them completely. And now you have this big split in the back of your armors and in the back of your clothes that she just carves right through to expose the back. Your muscles are very tense, and you feel a brand against your back.
Alright, full on stream, I'm sure.
But you only take 8 fire damage. Halved is 4. As it scalds and sears the skin in a brand.
Tallies.
I need to fix what you've already broken. He looks at one of the devils there that have stood as a sentry against the perimeter of this room on the outside of the lava pit. One of the ones with chains. Find that pit fiend and bring him to me. He nods, and as he moves away, you see his chain drag up and out of the magma, red hot, but not melted. Same kind of metal that you've been consistently seeing throughout this realm.
Get some.
Artegan.
Mhm.
Artegan. And Raphael, and Gillian. You are atop this house. You rip it into... The roof explodes open for you. You're looking down at this screaming lady who is in a bathtub. It looks like she was just tipping back to like dunk her head and her hair. What do? She's now screaming.
Yeah, I breathe the fire breath inside.
Nice.
It's a 60-foot cone, so I'm trying to get the all inside.
And her scream is silenced by cold breath?
Yep. Constitution save of DC 19.
Not gonna worry about it there, Artegan. Not gonna worry about it.
God, this is like evil shit right now, dude.
Yeah, that's
Taking out the.
You see a
Cultists.
plume
Sorry.
of cold. You can see him atop this house through some of the dense wheat field. You can see the shape of Artegan, the silhouettes, but a lot of the stalks are still, making it obscure and cover for you looking that way through the field. And you hear the sound of dragon's breath. It is loud and thunderous. And when it hits in the room, she immediately freezes, and then the explosions behind the force of this breath explodes her body into ice chunks. You see that happen. You see the floor underneath her cave almost just immediately. And now the floor is falling into the house. The bathtub falls down. It lands on someone, you think, when it hits, and then everything inside this house is overtaken by the cold breath of doom. That was Artegan's turn. Raphael.
I look to Gillian and I say, "The plan has changed already. You stay close. We are going to find someone who may know where prisoners are. If anybody runs this way, we'll capture them."
He will stay by your side as you move. He moves as fast. No, he doesn't move as fast as you, but he tries. You move at 40.
I'll slow down for him.
Okay. So you'll move at 30 through this field. Which way?
So he's right.
He's on the furthest house to
Right.
the right. He's on the
So,
east side of this plateau.
We're gonna move up the crops to the farthest one on the left.
Okay, so the house furthest to the left,
Yep.
but near you. You run through the field. Roll your perception.
Sorry. 18.
18. Gillian rolls as well, and you hear the sounds of barking coming from outside the field. It sounds like, with that good a roll, it actually sounds like they're moving away from you. You come outside the field, the edge of this first field, in one movement action. You look around, you can see Artegan, who is destroying this house from top down and whatever's inside of it. You see the front door blast off its hinges as the breath explodes outward.
There goes the orphanage.
Right, right.
Where do you go?
Like I said, I'm trying to move to the
Okay. So that's going to put you through another field you're going to have to travel through. A couple, in fact. There's 2 fields between you and that house. You exit this field, and it's only a small aisleway between the two, and you enter into the next, which is also a wheat field. And then the field closest to the house there is, well, you can't actually see because the wheat's too high.
Mm-hmm. So
Gillian's on your heels.
I'm by, like, from left to right, I'm by the second house right now. From left to right.
You're actually more near that tree on the left-hand side, the blackened tree. The second field to the left. You were on the furthest field.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just have to move, like...
Straight away towards the house. You'll go through one more field after
Right.
this.
Okay, great. We'll hold position right here.
You hear the sounds of people shouting, and then you hear the sounds of an alarm bell ringing from somewhere. Artegan, you're on top of this house. You are destroying it from the top down.
Mm-hmm.
Your breath sprays through most of it. It misses like one part of the wing on the east side of this building. And the lady is dead. Anyone else in there is probably dead. Roll a d6.
5.
I think that's a recharge.
Yep.
Your breath recharges. What do you do?
I'm actually going to fly over to the tower and try to grab a few pieces that are large enough we're not going to have issues holding them in claws. Grab one of each. And see if I can't do some dive bombing with a couple pieces of rubble on the other houses.
So you use those were words. So you'll use your movement to fly to the tower. That'll take your full movement. He takes to the air and he flies through, away from this building. His alarm's going off. Kung, 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 kung. You're not exactly sure where this is coming from. You give me a perception check as you take to the air.
Let's see here.
This is amazing.
Perception. I have a plus 11 as a dragon, so it's 22.
Okay. You see that the building on the furthest, not the furthest building to the left, but the building right next to it, kind of in the middle there, there is a large wooden post, and someone is out there actually like hammering the bell with this rope. They're just swinging it wildly.
If I get some rubble, I'll drop that first one there.
But you'll make it to the tower this turn. You make this wide, sweeping flight pattern. You turn kind of like where you're facing inward to the plateau when you land on the top of the tower, and you plant your claws on the top crenellations. When you do, you feel some of the stone crumble under your weight and under your clawed feet. Feet, yeah, you got feet, not talons. Raphael and Gillian will make it through this field into the next. Give me a perception.
14.
You can see that you have been spotted as you exit this field. One of the beasts that was running away towards, through the in-betweens, through these fields, is now turned around and it's staring at you and it's barking wildly. It's about 50 feet away. It's a pitch black looking mastiff. Like it's a really large dog. But it's not a dog. It is shaped like a dog. But it is inky black. And it looks like some of its form has wisping shadows that kind of dance around its form as it moves. And it makes a beeline towards you. You still have an action.
I'm going to hold my action till when it gets up to me.
Okay.
I will attack it.
Okay, so you hold your action as well as Gillian. He'll stand by your side. And it just full on charges both of you. What is your AC?
23.
23. And yes, it looks almost exactly like a mastiff, except when it gets close, its grin is very wide, much like that demon that you had seen before. Its flesh is tight, and you see the shadows wisping off of it. It lunges for you, and it will roll to hit. For a 23.
I am a 23.
It just hits.
Shield.
Okay. It lunges up into the air. It pretty much launches itself off of its powerful hindquarters. It goes to bite, and your shield, it ricochets off, and it almost like half flips over and tumbles. I don't know if I want to set up a battlefield. Do I want to set up a battlefield? I kind of want to set up a battlefield.
Yeah, you do.
All right. I'm going to do that real quick where you guys are at. Good old Artegan. You're going to make my battlefield like useless in half a second, but it'll be fun.
You have destroyed battlefield stuff?
I could if I wanted. I don't. But let's set some stuff up.
So while he's doing that, there was a question in the chat. So this guy, Toby, Toby 01704 just asked, well, he said he was new to D&D and he just bought the starter set and he's asking what he should do. I said in chat just to dive in and play, but, you know, I don't know because I'm new myself. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Is that
Dive in. I mean, there's a million different videos and streams to watch that you can only use them for ideas. Don't feel intimidated. You don't have to have all the fancy miniatures and things like that we've been collecting for years, literally. And you don't have to be Critical Role. You don't have to do any of that stuff.
You don't have to have the best French accent in the world.
You don't have to have the breast French accent.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Matt Colville has a video series called Running the Game on YouTube. That was, I think, great. It really gets rid of a lot of the mystique and the hurdles, and he talks about how simple these things can be. If you have time, something like that could be useful. But really, I mean, grab a couple friends who aren't going to give you too hard of a time and just dive in.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I would say start something low level. Don't just jump into level 10 or something like that ridiculous, because you have so many options and so many things you have to know how to do that it's not going to be fun to try to imagine it all.
Here's a question from me. Are we turning evil?
That would be the best.
In Artegan's mind, these guys are the evil ones, so he's just trying to get rid of them. I mean, the cultists need to be getting rid of. So
I don't have any good like field representations. So this is gonna be like the end of the field right here. Wonder if
you could do your measuring thing, make the edge of it, maybe.
Nah,
You use that toilet paper.
it's too bright. Too much light.
We could use those green spots, those green dice.
Doesn't matter. I'll just tell you when you're out of the field over here.
I'm literally just gonna be killing dogs, I guess.
Over there, though, is a guy that is ringing a bell. I don't have a bell either. Right there. Thank you. I wasn't really sure where you guys were going to go, so I didn't have anything like set up beforehand. Because I didn't know, like, what are you going to actually do? That's a hobgoblin. We don't need a hobgoblin in here. That's good enough. Right there. Yeah, you can help me. It's closer to you than it is to me. And the rest of this area is like open field and fields of like this is actually a grove of trees. You know what? I have a grove of trees. Like I said.
Well, you better bring them out, Ryan, or else I'm not going to know where that grove is.
Something like that.
Grove.
Great.
Goodness gracious. Great groves of fire.
Now you're not actually here. You're over here between this field and the house. And you are fighting a shadow mastiff. Cool. I'll put on the battle cam, and then we'll continue this destruction. Watch Artegan just come over and kill everyone.
I need a battle cookie.
You can always have a battle cookie. Okay. Whose turn did I leave off on?
Mine.
Mastiff was jumping him and he had his action ready.
Attack. You are actually going to attack before him. One attack because you readied your action.
I don't get 3?
Nope.
Okay.
One attack on a readied action.
Oh.
It's your reaction.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Let's see, 15 and 12. Jeez, I got some stuff now, dude.
27? I think that's a hit. You pull your sword, and as it lunges, you just try to plunge it into the meat of its chest as it's coming right at you. You know what? You don't attack. Because your reaction, although you were going to attack, you did react instead.
Oh,
You turned to the side and made sure that he didn't sink his teeth around your neck. And when you did, poof, it kind of flipped him off to the side. But both are a reaction, so you can't do two reactions. Does that make sense?
Okay.
But Gillian was going to strike him when he got close. So he'll go to strike him because he got close.
Fuck me, yeah, right, Gillian. Let's go, man.
Best.
Gotta get.
So, as this
doing
creature jumps and lunges, it bounces off you towards Gillian, and he just takes his sword and tries to shove it through the meat of his chest, just like you were thinking about doing. And he actually rolls these. That's awesome. So it is 11 plus 2. So 13 damage to this creature. It's like as it tumbles and like tries to right itself, it rolls twice on the ground and flips up.
Me.
He had plus 2.
Yeah, you rolled 11 though.
Yeah, well, he rolled different dice than you roll.
Yeah.
He attacks differently than you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you attack 3 times though. There's a difference in what you can do. And then the creature gets back up on its feet. But that makes it Artegan's turn.
Grabbing some pieces of rubble.
Give me a strength check. An adult white dragon strength check.
Was a 24.
24.
22, sorry.
You rip out one giant chunk, one crenellation. We'll use that in a minute. Of stone. You grab one in your right clawed hand. You try to rip out the other, but you can't get both of them filled this round.
Okay.
It would
take
just
off.
be too much.
I'll take off and fly in this direction.
Okay, so you got one giant chunk of stone. It's like 5 feet wide and a couple feet thick.
Mm-hmm.
And you fly off in this direction. Now, according to the map, which house are you going after? Are you going after the same?
Going after this one that's ringing the bell.
Okay. Ringing the bell. You won't get there this round, but you'll get close.
Okay.
Because you used your action. You'll get halfway there.
Okay.
A little less than half. And now you see, from off in the distance, a dragon starting to approach from the east. It's your turn.
Beep, beep, beep. Like, and I make those noises.
Beep, beep, beep.
Beep.
Like you hit him with a rubber hammer?
Yep.
Or
Beep,
hammer?
beep, beep.
Rubber mallet.
Oh, gotta get my dice together here. I'm gonna use Josh's dice. I got a natural 20.
All right.
I have a 14, and I have a 23.
Hit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So, let's see. So, 9 and 17 is 26. And that is another 12. So 26, 12 is 38, plus 6 is 44. Thank you.
All right, yeah.
Math.
One, as it's righting itself, you take your sword and poof, bury it into its flesh. It yelps, and then you do it again. Poof, that second strike on the ground,
it's done. You don't have to hit it a third time if you don't want. The third would just be stabbing a corpse at that point, and you can tell.
And I don't take that third stab.
Okay.
I show restraint because
Especially in front of Gillian.
I'm in front of my retainer right now.
So that was your action, is to stab. You didn't have to move but 5 feet away.
Okay, so I point to the field. To the next field that we're moving
Actually,
to.
a grove of trees. Like I said, it's not pine trees. It's like
Okay.
fruit trees. You're passing under the boughs of trees that have lush, fat fruits
Sure.
on them.
I point towards the direction of the house that I want to stand.
And you can kind of see it through this grove of trees because they're not like densely packed together. They're spaced apart enough to grow. And you can see the building in between all these trees. In fact, they're lined up in rows. So once you get to that one angle, you see all the trees lined up that way. And then you can see through the aisle.
Sure.
Perfectly.
And I move up and I want to go to the edge of the field I'm trying to move up to the edge of the field closest to the house.
Gillian takes your lead, and he knows he's a little slower, and he runs through the field a little faster than you because he knows you'll catch up, and he makes it to like right here. I don't think I have a Gillian model, but I have a Raphael model. Right here.
Wow.
So you're like out here, and he's going to be like right here.
You want to use Deloran?
Nah, screw Deloran. Gillian. And the dragon is
Good old
not here
sneakhead
yet.
Gilligan.
That was their turn. Not their turn, your turn. And Gillian's turn. What are they going to do about a dragon? That's the real question, right, Artegan? What are they going to do about a dragon? I don't know.
Did you think about a dragon before you?
Oh, I've thought about many things.
Giant crossbows, apparently.
We were prepared for this white dragon.
Okay. Through this grove of trees that you can see to the building, you see someone bust out the door and head this way. They're not looking in your direction at all. And they're moving towards the east. Let's see if I can get a better view. It's probably better. Go ahead, Artegan.
Will I make it to the bell?
You'll make it to the bell.
I drop the rock on the bell.
Alright. So over here is a guy ringing a bell. Ding, da, ding, ding, da, ding, ding. And you see Artegan swoop in and drop a rock. That might not even see the dragon. That thing is huge. We're going to have to see you guys in the shot just to see the dragon. That's alright. Everyone can see your ugly mugs. Go ahead and give me a... You're not proficient in rock dropping.
That's just aim and drop, right?
So dexterity is it. Against his AC.
Wouldn't be a like a normal attack.
Is there a rock drop attack on your chart?
No.
No. It would be a
This is
dexterity.
flavor.
You're a dragon, Artegan.
Well, it has a dexterity of +0.
Really?
So yeah, his strength modifier is a +6.
Luckily, you're dropping a building.
Yeah.
Strength
building.
modifier is a +6, but you're trying to aim. You're not like trying to throw. Because all you're doing is like swooping over and releasing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you're like throwing it and you're not proficient with it.
Yeah, I was thinking more of like dive bombing and coming up kind of thing.
Getting that perfect trajectory as you're flying down in, release and move up.
Yep.
I'm sticking with Dex, man. I don't know.
Well, it was a 10 plus 0 then?
10 plus 0. You see the rock loose from his talon. I keep saying talon. Claws. And it lands just above him and it smacks the bell. When it cleans the bell off the post, the whole thing crashes to the ground. I'm going to give him a dex save to not take any collateral. He doesn't take any collateral damage. He dives out of the way, and then you continue your arc upwards.
Was that my action, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you're trying to hit him.
Okay.
And then, where do you want to fly? You can fly almost anywhere, even off the map, probably.
Probably actually going to go above that building.
So the furthest building.
Yep.
Give me a perception check.
Say 30.
30? Jesus.
It's got a plus 11.
You look down and you see Raphael still outside this grove of trees. Just enter as you're coming across this way. You have a plus 11 naturally, so I probably wouldn't have made you roll.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you have a plus 11.
He's got a passive of 21 perception.
All right. So yeah, you just saw this happen. In fact, you see Gillian through the rows of trees every once in a while, poof, 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 as you're coming by.
Okay.
And where are you headed again?
I'm actually going to go, because I saw that, I'm going to go back behind the building so that everyone has to point their
You got a
vision
map?
this way.
You want to move that over? Matt doesn't want to do it.
I
Going behind that building.
Yeah.
oh my god.
Nice.
Great, they're gonna see the 3D printer, y'all.
Yeah. I kind of like having the more mobile field of view, although I don't have enough battlefield for what's going on because I know it's going to go off the field almost immediately.
Right.
It's fun while it lasted.
This is a small town that you're battling.
He's dragoning.
he's dragoning a whole village.
All right, so after that, he was running out this way. He watches it fly up that way. Gillian stops here. He waits for you, Raphael. You can get to right here if you want.
I'll move up.
You move up. You're pretty much at the edge of the forest. Not forest. Peach Grove.
And how quickly can I assess this guy?
How are you going to assess him? Soldier?
Well,
You take your action. Actually, you used your action to dash because you're going as fast as you can. You can see the dragon now making an arc, coming back this way towards the house building. I don't know. He didn't run. Does that tell you anything?
yes. And I don't have any more actions.
Not actions, we have bonus actions. You could shout, you could talk, you could...
No, I won't say anything.
You just remain there.
Yep.
Kind of, unless he's actually watching, hidden. Well, you're not trying to hide. He looks over and sees you leaving the tree grove. He came out here looking. He saw. Sees dragon, sees you. He's aware. Gillian runs up behind you and stays by your side. Right there. Artegan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that guy stands up. And he will take cover behind the house. Thank you. Perfect. What do you do, Artegan? There's no more bell ringing. The
Yep.
bell has embedded itself into the dirt over there by that house.
I'm going to... This guy is... I kind of saw the same thing as he did. This guy is not running. He came out to do something. I'm going to position myself like right around there.
Are you going to
Sorry.
land?
Or are you going to hover?
Hover, but not too far off the ground. And aim it at him and the building.
Well, just do this. He's flying.
Yeah. And I'm doing a 60-foot cone out in that direction.
Okay.
Trying to hit the building as well for some collateral damage. Sorry.
So you see the spray of cold again. Roll your perceptions. All of you.
Natural 20.
Yeah, and I got a 26.
Okay.
So that's a 31 for me.
Yeah. You succeed, but what you notice is he waits till that very last second, that almost split second before the cold breath hits and poof, disappears.
Damn it.
And the cold goes, and you see the door explode off. The front of this building explodes. Even more of this building explodes. The 60-foot cone Artegan. What the fuck, dude? So yeah, we'll just kind of like put it in tatters. As he blows of icy death across that part of the building, this tree goes down. And yeah, that looks like a good cone of destruction. You destroyed the house. A little bit. Do you want to... No, you moved there. You have a little movement left.
Okay, I'll fly up afterwards. Take to the sky again. Yep.
Okay. And then he lifts. Jesus. Well, that makes it their turn, doesn't it? Go ahead, Raphael and Gillian, make a Constitution save.
Oh, wait. I think I can roll twice on this.
If you fail, yeah. I think you have pretty good constitution.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I got a 22.
22 is a save.
Thank you.
Gillian will also roll.
Yes, Gillian!
Gillian is the man.
Natural
today.
20.
Again.
He's my guy.
So Gillian and you both feel this heaviness across your bodies, this wave of exhaustion, and he also reveals his position unnecessarily back here in the trees. He's actually behind another tree right here, trying to stay out of sight. But once he does that, he reveals his position. You will suffer some damage, but you don't feel that exhaustion that he's trying to bring about on your body.
Sure.
So you'll take... Damn. Need more of these. Oh, sorry, that's 13. Plus another 10 is 23. 24 psychic damage. As this wave of exhaustion comes across you. And when he does that, he will move back into the groves further away.
Okay. How far out is he from me right now? Oh, I guess it's not my turn. Never mind.
It is... I think I did skip you.
Yeah, because I went...
It's all right.
and then
I definitely skipped you. Go ahead.
I'm
And then we'll
gonna-
get back to normal order.
Okay.
Dragons are throwing me off hard again.
I'm going to... How far out is he then?
50.
I'm going to cast Hold Person.
Okay. Hold person. Stop moving. He rolls a wisdom save.
It's an 18.
He does not make it. He saves. He looks at you. He's moving. He almost stops and he fights it off and he looks up at you.
Does not make it, but he's sick. God damn it, Ryan. I don't know what that means.
He is more powerful than your normal crony. So that's your action. You can move. You can bonus act.
Don't really have any bonus actions, so I'm just gonna go straight toward. Let's just go right towards him. Get right up on him.
So this is 40, approximately.
That's the wrong guy.
That's true.
It's the
He's
wrong
gonna follow
guy.
him, right?
Yeah. So we'll just
Not
switch
as
it back.
far, but
There you go. You're here. He's there. Artegan.
I saw him over there.
Roll your perception. You did not see him, and he did not attack you.
27.
Yeah, you see.
I'll fly behind him.
Okay. So back here.
Oh, do I do the recharge at the start of turn or end of
Recharge. I think it's the start of turn. You should
That
probably
also
read it.
recharges.
Yeah.
I'm going to fly up behind him and make 3 attacks. I'll use Frightful Presence and then 3 attacks.
Frightful Presence. Roll a wisdom save, everyone. Is it wisdom?
Each creature of the dragon's choice says within
What?
120
I mean,
feet.
choice? That's
Yep.
amazing.
So, just
that's
him.
way too strong. Way too strong.
So he will roll wisdom save.
Yep. DC 14.
He does save. 14
And-
is not that bad.
Yep.
And you will make 3 attacks against him. Roll to
Say
hit. With
23?
disadvantage.
Oh, disadvantage?
With disadvantage.
23 for the first one.
It is a hit.
Natural 20 and a 19 to hit.
That is not a hit, the 19.
And the last one's a natural 1.
What happens on a
So-
1? You land behind him, you strike him once, and then...
Kill again. Kill again.
No, he's out of range.
Tailwind.
I'll take down one of the trees and it'll fall towards them.
He slams a tree
Not
with
used to
his
this
giant claw. Ooh, when he does, it falls towards you and Gillian, Raphael. Make a dex save.
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to
Sorry.
use my
Indomitable will.
Yeah.
Good job. So we're kind of getting off the map here. Let's see if we can even get more viewing. I can't even put the dragon
22.
here. There's no more room, Artegan.
Sorry. He went over to the corner.
22 is a save, and Gillian also saves.
And then my bite does, let's see, 11 plus 6 is 17 damage.
17 is damage. Gotcha.
Yep. And then that's piercing, and then it does 8 cold damage as well.
Okay. Got it. Go ahead, Raphael.
Don't even know if I need to do anything to this guy, but I'm going to. I'm going to go right up to him, and we're going to slash him 3 times. But I'm going to do, if I'm close to...
2d20, sorry.
If I'm getting close, I don't want to... My third strike, I don't want to kill him.
You can do non-lethal.
Non-lethal on my final strike.
Okay, so you're going to move up to him here and roll to hit.
All right, so the first one is a 15, a 17,
And a 23.
So that is a miss hit.
9.
9 more damage.
Yep. And I'm going to move back to Gillian, and I'm going to shield him from going in.
You hold out your hand, or you?
Or I just hold my hand out.
So you
to
move
him.
around him a little.
I move back towards
You're gonna
Gillian.
move back without disengaging?
I don't care if I'm mobile, so that he can't.
Yeah, you're mobile.
So I'm gonna move back towards Gillian.
Mm-hmm. How far?
Back to him.
You got 5 feet of movement. That's all you got.
All right, and I'm just gonna hold my hand back so he doesn't get close.
Okay, so you hold your hand back. He'll run up beside you. He looks at you. He's like, "Is that this Artegan?"
I just
He points at the dragon.
I just nod my head.
All right, Artegan, you're having your fun here. It's his turn. Let's see what he does. So he's not going to do that. He looks up at the dragon. He looks a little bit afraid. You guys don't see it in his eyes because you're not looking at him. But Artegan, you see it. He's looking up at you. He turns into a gaseous form. A mist that starts coalescing together nearby this one peach tree. And he'll use his movement to enter into a knot of the tree and disappear from sight. That's what he did. I suppose he's leaving your threat range.
Can I try to attack?
And you. And you.
I feel like I shouldn't attack this, Ryan. You give me a devious look here, but I'll do it. 21.
27.
That's a hit.
What is this considered, a bite?
Claw.
Claw?
I think is opportunity attacks.
Okay.
So... Oh! He can't move if I hit him.
Is that your sentinel?
That is my Sentinel. So I just did another 13 damage to him.
Okay.
And he can't move.
So 14 damage with the claw.
We're going to read sentinel real quick. Boy, guys.
Yeah. Gotta rebalance like combats now.
Not really. When you hit a creature, he cannot move for the rest of his turn. He starts filtering into the knot of the tree, and you hit your sword into him. The magic that flows through him and your ability stops it from moving, and you can see the mist stop midair, kind of like a rain that's falling just stops. And it's not floating, it's not wavering, it's not moving, it's just still.
Pause
Interesting.
cloud.
A spell called
Cloud kill.
I didn't know how that was gonna like
It worked.
play out, but
So
I would have accepted either way.
that was what you did. That was what he did. Roll your perceptions.
20.
22.
You guys are like perceiving kings, except for Gillian. But that's all right, because you guys got his back. You hear the sounds of shouting and mostly men shouting from that direction. You can't see over the trees. Even you, Artegan, because you're hunched down and you're behind this grove of trees over here, slapping the crap out of this poor guy. This poor mist. But you can hear things from that direction, people grouping. That was their turn, Artegan.
Let's see.
Wait, was it Artegan? They went Artegan.
Do I think the mist can attack me?
You're not really sure.
Okay. Well, I'm curious about what's going on over there, so I'll lift off.
So he takes off.
And I'll take a look at what's going on over there. See what I
You
see.
look over there and you see, with your perception, that guy has now grouped up over there, and they're starting to not all group together because they're not stupid, but they're starting to shout commands at each other, and they're pointing off in this direction, and they're looking up towards you as you're rising up, and they are readying themselves for an attack. They're holding their ground. They see you.
Do they have any ranged thing that I can see?
That you can see. You see one guy is holding a long spear. He kind of is holding it at the ready. There's a couple people that are just readying themselves. One has a dagger out like that.
I'll see how many of them I can get in a 60-foot cone.
Did it recharge again?
Yep.
So you lift off. You can get 2 in a 60-foot cone.
Okay.
We're going to be off the battle map for a minute because Artegan's going over there to deal with shit. So you're over here.
Never fight in the same place 2 turns in a row.
Now, you cannot reach them this turn. You fly in that direction towards them. They're pretty far away. Like I said, they're off the map. Couple hundred feet. You can go 160. I think it's 80-80.
Let's see. Fly speed 80.
So you can go 80-80 or you can go 80.
80-80.
80-80, so you'll get within 40. For the next attack, you'll sweep by, blast 2 that are close enough together. They didn't know exactly how long your range is, and the way you're going to get them is they're not like grouping together, but you're going to turn and get that 60-foot cone. You're going to get one guy then like 40 feet away over here, that other guy.
Okay.
Depending on what happens. That's your turn, Raphael. The mist is still here. It hasn't moved. It tried to. Your reaction was to stop it from. It's halfway in the knot of the tree.
So that's going to be an 18, a 23, and a 30.
Hit. No, miss. Hit. 30. Jeez, dude.
I got plus 12.
Dude.
And this is, again, I'm not trying to kill him. So that's 10, 12, 22.
22. You feel like when you're cutting through this mist, it is going through and it is like pushing other parts of it away, but you don't feel like you're having quite as good an effect as you would against someone's flash.
Oh, do you not have a magic sword?
Yeah, it's a plus 2.
Gillian will Well, he never actually joined you. You told him to stay back. Do you want him to join you? He's like, Raphael, should I come up here? You give him the go. He runs up to the mist. God damn it. What the hell is going on? I can't wait for low levels again. He hits with 20 on the dot. That will be... Good lord.
Yeah, Gillian!
Gillian is the
Get
man
fucking
today.
some! Yes!
That Cobra mask, I tell ya.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Deadly precision.
When my retainer's stronger than me. Man.
Ooh.
Max damage.
I lie. He takes full damage. 22 and then 16.
Finish him, Gillian. I wasn't dealing lethal, but he might have been.
So he takes 2 swings again. Well, 3 from you, and then 1 from Gillian. And it drops from mist. It comes back and it's looking right at you. It'll be their turn, then Artegan. So we're going to start with them, and then we're going to cut to Merit before we end the session. So we'll start with them. Artegan, you are getting in range to make another sweeping pass.
Mm-hmm.
They have readied themselves for you. They are waiting till you get closer. So first, the guy with the spear, he's definitely going to use it. What is your AC?
As the dragon, 18.
It's not bad.
Do you have disadvantage? Is it too high up or no?
He's one of the ones you're going to torch.
Hmm.
It's going to be bad for him, probably. But he hits with the spear. So you're going to take... Do you have resistance to poison?
Let's see. Damage immunity is cold. Doesn't say.
So you will take... It's only 3 poison anyways, and then 7 piercing as the spear enters in.
Use an inspiration for concentration for a natural 20. So
And then...
His 20s, man.
The girl holding the dagger, woman, not girl, you see some lightning start forming up and around her fingers and sprays the air where you're coming from. She is not one of the ones you're going to catch in this cone, but she's close enough to cast this. And these are the only 2 that are close enough to actually do anything this turn. But when you do your flyby with that cone, there's going to be more attacks there. You can tell people are readying themselves for when you come by. Go ahead and make a dexterity save.
19.
That's enough. So you'll take half damage. Is there another D8 hiding anywhere? There we go. Eight, 16, 17, 18, 25. 627, 32, 38. 49. You'll take half of that.
Okay, so it'd be 24.
24.
And I rolled high enough to stay concentrating.
You remain concentrated as you're gonna blast two people, the spear guy, and you could change your course now if you wanted to hit her instead. You'd only hit her, though.
See, the first attack was 10 damage, right?
Yes.
Okay. Just remember that I should probably be keeping track of my hit points as a
That's
dragon.
probably a good idea.
Yep. Yeah, I'll change my trajectory and hit her instead.
All right. Single target, cold damage. That's going to start on your turn next session.
Okay.
Before we stop, we're going to get back to Merritt real quick. Dragon battles, huh?
Dragon battles.
Dragon battles. Talk
Our
about
dragon.
dragging it out, Artegan.
Sorry.
Our dragon.
I was going to say Dragagon.
Dragagon.
Or Drag again.
Dragon.
Alright, so let's go ahead and take off the battle music. Move the battle cam.
Do.
Let's stare at Gaziel instead. Gaziel. In fact, Gaziel. Is that him? There we go. That probably still doesn't get him. Barrett's way down there. He's on his throne up atop.
Hey, Dad.
Alright, guys. Make me crazy.
Did you have fun?
It was fine.
Where did we leave off with you, Merritt?
He was branding me.
Oh, yeah. You got branded, buddy.
Mm-hmm. So just pressing it in between my shoulder blades.
Merritt's screaming. Like the scream in Princess Bride, but not as long.
Hopefully not.
And then they release the brand after a long, intense searing. It's nauseating.
Yeah, I probably
painful.
collapse.
You hit the ground, take another
Stupid birdie, everything.
1 damage of fire as you hit the ground on your hands. You're starting to feel your hands like slowly singeing, and there's a blister that forms on one of the finger pads.
Gross. I'll try to push myself up.
You push yourself up. You, Zadkiel, will forever be my son.
I take a look at kind of my shredded clothes.
You look back, you see your clothes have been split, but you can't, turn your head far enough around to see the brand.
But I just see it kind of falling off. And I say, do you keep your sons so poorly clothed and armed? I take a quick glance at the green-bladed spear that he's got in his hand.
He looks down at the spear at the same time you look down at it. I might have something that I can offer you. Although I don't think a spear will be in your interest.
I have never in my life wielded one.
He
Certainly not one so large.
stands up. He kind of grabs the arms of his skull throne. And when he does, you see as he lifts up, he pushes down on one of the skull's heads that's at the very front of his throne, and it indents the head and shatters. And he lifts himself up. Doesn't even care. Takes his spear and sets it straight up on end and slowly inserts it into that obsidian rock. And you see, as he does it, it actually slowly pushes itself into pure rock, pure stone, until it's just standing on end. If I give this metal to you, you'll be more like me every day. He reaches into a little pouch he wears on his side by his, held up by his loincloth that's going around his privates. And in the pouch, he reaches his long claws in and dexterously grabs out this little piece of chunk of metal. To him, it's like a golf ball. He reaches down and hands this thing to you. To you, it's like a baseball or maybe a softball. It's pretty large. You can use this for your spell focus. As you defeat your enemies, you will only become stronger. Now, are you actually happy or are you deceptionally happy?
No, he
Happy.
I would say he's, as far as his molten spine is concerned, struggling a bit. But he still sees himself 100% as the good guy, and therefore more power just means I can make the world better.
Okay. And when we take everything, we will stand together, united, father and son. You hear a slight as the one that sat at his side and that branded you looks up at him and then immediately looks away. Almost speaking out of turn.
I'll make eye contact with that one for a second, but then just look back.
So you look at her pale face and you can give me an insight.
Insight is a 13.
Okay. Naturally, you can just tell that obviously when he said that, she had a reaction, a visceral reaction, like he's offering you something that she would probably want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the way of the world and that's the way of hell, obviously. But in her eyes, as she looks up at him and then looks away, you see a slight reverence from her. And kind of from you. And she points her eyes towards the ground, downcast. We will unite.
I expect the door will be opened within a week. At least on time of the mortal plane.
All of this has taken a little bit of time. He talks very slowly, very methodically. You are sweating everywhere. It is just dripping down your fingertips by this point. It is pouring off of you. He hasn't shown any sign of worry or care that you are sweating or that you're hot or that you're burning yourself on the ground. It doesn't seem like he actually cares about that. But you hear a commotion outside as these chained devils that he had sent out are now walking back in, but they're dragging something. You can see their chains are taut as they're coming through the arc of this room, and they have that pit fiend grappled in the hooks of their chains. The chains are buried deep in its flesh, and what you can see is they're pulling against it from each side. Kind of like how those long sticks with nooses on them would capture something, except they're large chain spikes that are digging into its flesh, and they're pulling him in, and he's half resisting, but not fully resisting. And you would think with his strength he probably could if he wanted. And he is pulled into the room to face Gaziel. He looks down at you. And what should I do with this one? That's where we're going to end. What are you doing over there?
I don't know. We're all evil now.
All right, guys.
Garavon would have loved this.
Thanks for the bits, 12 side guy.
Yeah,
Thank you. All right, we're gonna do. Did we get any followers? Got a couple followers. I'll go over those. Tinkering Whimsy, thank you for your follow. Stoneless Bee. Kane Erasmus. Dragoneer. And Damaged Donor. Hey guys, thank you all for your follow. We appreciate all of our supporters. We appreciate our bits. We appreciate the subscribers we have to the channel. Remember that you can subscribe if you have an Amazon account. Just link it to your Twitch account and you can subscribe to us. Hopefully we put on an entertaining show without Josh today. Everyone else had a little more time to talk that Josh isn't here.
Little.
Artegan didn't have much time to talk, but he became a dragon.
He did what he wanted to do. Yeah.
He did exactly what he wanted. And you remained in dragon form even after being pretty lit up. That's good news.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been bad, especially if you came out of dragon form. Like, I think that might have shocked Artegan into like, oh yeah, that's what happens if you lose concentration.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen, even true polymorph.
Mm-hmm.
Although you did torch building.
2 buildings.
We're going to do Roses and Thorns for the end of the game. What is your favorite part of the game? What is your least favorite? Who wants to start? Any takers? Volunteers? No volunteers? All right, Artegan. Roses and Thorns.
Rose is probably being a dragon and staying a dragon.
Being a dragon. How can you not call that your rose?
Thorn, probably splitting the party. Would have been nice to have everyone around, but we kind of did it to ourselves.
That's your thorn? You did it to yourself.
I know.
Well,
Okay,
Josh
that's
did it to him.
Not really.
Mm.
Once
Kind of.
Josh started attacking.
Merritt did it to him.
Merritt started attacking. Artegan started attacking.
I was
You
going to
left.
follow him until the person...
Things happened.
Yeah.
Plans changed.
Yep. Plans changed.
Like
Thorn,
they do.
you split the party. Yeah, you guys have learned that splitting the party can be bad.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're fighting the entire estate, all these cultists. Well, there's 2 of you out of 4. And Gillian. He's been rocking it.
Yeah.
Brian, Roses and Thorns.
It's pretty exciting to see this portion of Merritt's backstory finally. To see literally where he comes from. And I think you did a good job kind of manipulating the situation, backing me into deals and whatnot. It's very devilish in that sense. That's also, I guess, I don't really have a thorn per se, but I mean, that's it. Sometimes when you're out of spells, blown half to hell,
Literally.
well, half to hell figuratively, all the way to hell literally, and you have nothing to do but lie to devils, things are only going to get worse for you. And I've been backed further and further into this corner, and Merritt is just trying to survive at the moment, and maybe some things are kind of going. It's not as brutal as it could be.
They didn't
if he
outright
was just,
kill you?
Yeah, they didn't just chew on my body for a while. But it's gonna cause some problems, and when you do get yourself backed into those corners, it always feels like a lack of agency, which would be the closest thing I have to a thorn, even though I think it's been great. He's painting himself into the corner, so whatever. He went from Pit Fiend to Gaziel. I don't know.
Is that better? Is it worse?
It
has connections. That's good.
It has some connection, but if it goes poorly, it's going to go a lot more poorly.
True.
The stakes are higher, but there's a slight chance of getting out of there.
I got 2 thorns.
Mm-mm.
So we'll go right back to it. Splitting the party. I don't per se hate that you split the party, but it makes my mind work in 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions. Like, I have to know what he's doing against a Pit Fiend, which means I have to know what a Pit Fiend can do, for one. I have to know that they have true sight out to 120 feet at all times. I have to know that they can do crazy things. They're really strong. They're really tough. At the same time, I have to know what an adult white dragon can do in some other part of the world. At the same time, where I have 3 retainers in Roan talking to Raphael and trying to do that scene. At the same time that you're talking to Gaziel, a arch devil.
And Skizit, my imp, bro.
And Skizit, your imp. And I have to explain what hell looks like in my mind, which I hope I do an okay job at that, because good God, I can't wrap my mind around all these different locations and places. I've got this estate going. I'm glad I had a little bit of a map ahead of time, because that at least helps a little visually for you guys. Because I have to explain that and the fields and all in a 3.5, 4 hour session. It makes me crazy. I don't know how my mind works like that. You're taxing me, guys. You're taxing me.
If we survive this, we're going to all be returning soon. Hopefully, maybe by the end of next.
We'll all be together so we can split the party again.
It's going to be so good.
Yep. All together again.
Yeah, so we can high five and separate.
It's like, okay, high five. What are you going to do? I'm going over here.
That's my thorn. My other thorn is high levels.
Yeah.
It's so weird to try to
crazy stuff now.
I don't know what I'm going to do with you guys. He became a white dragon. Adult white dragon. Although I did almost knock you out of it, and that felt pretty good. So I'm going to say that's one of my roses. I probably scared you a little. I hope I did.
Yeah. Another issue with True Polymorph is I don't think I get my luck feat.
No, you don't.
So all I had was inspiration to keep me in it.
You keep your legendary resistance.
Oh,
or did I take that away?
I think you took that away.
I might have taken it away, but that would be DM fiat. You
can
definitely lose your
add
legendary
or remove
actions.
Oh,
for sure.
okay.
That's raw. And then I might have taken them away, but I might have told you to keep them.
Maybe. I remembered legendary something went away. Probably legendary actions, but I was playing as though I didn't think I had legendary resistance.
I don't know if it would have mattered for that. You saved anyways.
Yeah, I saved twice. It would be nice just to, when I turn into something that does have legendary resistances...
Like an adult white dragon?
Yeah. It keeps its form for at least 3 rounds. Or 3 attacks.
Well, if you save on your con.
Yeah.
You still take half damages on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, I errated it out, sorry. I put it in the true polymorph description. You do not gain legendary resistance. Ryan's errata. I think I did that when I was thinking of it for true polymorph.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be able to choose between forms not based on that alone.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to choose other forms that might be fun and do different things that don't come with legendary resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll do my best to allow you to play it out however you do, including being a dragon, blowing up buildings, women in bathtubs, because that's now Artegan's life. So
probably a cultist?
My real rose, I'm going to say, is finally meeting Gaziel. It's been a long time coming, and I never thought it would, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which I was fine with.
Away.
When I painted this guy, I didn't think you'd ever see him. I just did it because it looked fun. It was a neat model. You did it. You went to hell by yourself.
Yeah, I picked his name from an arbitrary list probably 18 months ago and said, that's the devil. And then you scolded me because apparently there's no information on him or
There
anything.
was like 2 paragraphs about Gaziel ever. His description, for one, and I think he commanded pit fiends somewhere else, maybe. Whatever. So that's my rose. I really liked Hell. I liked the role play in Hell. And I liked making it feel like hell. I hope it was hot and uncomfortable.
It was hot and sweaty.
Some of that stuff I had no plans of before we went in it, and it just kind of developed into you now have a brand on your back that you haven't seen yet. That's going to be fun.
That is going to be fun.
Matthew.
Okay, so my rose is I got a couple of them really. Like we're gonna go against your thorn. I like this splitting the party thing. Like I really do. Because it changes the scene and it keeps like me interested through the whole thing. Now like last week it was really interesting to listen to. Like so as like I'm just thinking as a viewer or just like sitting here when I really don't like when Big Mouth's here. I'm sorry, Josh.
He's not watching.
No.
And he'll never watch.
I'm not saying that like obviously he's good and I like listening to him. But like when I'm in a scene sometimes I don't know. I just like listening to different scenes. It's like a show to me because not everybody's always going to be together. So that's why
this is D&D, a team game where you're supposed to all be together.
Yeah, but we're still
gathering separate resources.
Right. Well,
I just got a metal ball.
But again, there's this leading into my second rose is I get to develop my character that I've only had for a third of this campaign now, and a little bit more. So I really liked my rose. My true rose is I got to interact with my retainers a little bit more, and Gillian is a fucking badass.
He's doing pretty good.
Who rolls
for
20s all the time and max damage, and it's awesome.
I kind of like Gillian. He's getting into the spirit of sword fighting.
So that was really great.
Thorn?
My thorn. I don't know if I really had a thorn this game. It's tough because I can't say pacing was an issue. You telling me not to tap stuff is my thorn. I guess I don't really. Everything was awesome.
Cool.
I think we're heading in a very dangerous direction, and I think we're going to be an evil group. And I don't know how. My character, who's not technically an irregular, is going to feel about all this. He just saw Artegan just like
blast. Know about the girl in that?
I don't know about the girl. And if I had known about the girl, that would be a different story. But
you just saw him blast a building to bits and everything inside.
It's still very powerful.
He's a dragon.
So I don't know.
What do you do about that? What do you do about that? I mean, at least it's only for one time a day, for 1 hour, or until he gets knocked out of it. Unless you make it permanent.
Or if he makes it permanent, you can hand over your character sheet.
Yeah, that's
pretty much.
Artegan is stronger in the end, than a dragon, I would say, because he can become a dragon. So it's better to be in the form where you can be malleable and change your forms. So that's my reasoning behind Artegan not just being like, I am now a this.
Oh, and because you come with, their weaknesses, too. Like, dragons like to hoard, and they become selfish.
Yep.